Skin the Harder Way 7T. Back with another EP. What's good, D Free? Shout out my guy, We Talk Sports. Alright, so today we talking about Earl Spence and Bud Crawford. I didn't try my best, not to talk about this shit, especially this subject in particular, right? This particular subject about these two fighters. I tried my best not to talk about these two fighters. And then, once the rumor hit, once it hit the rumor mill, once speculation started, right, that Errol Spence in turns Bud Crawford will be fighting November 19th. I kind of stayed away from it, to be real with you. I stayed away from it because we've been getting a lot of false dates when it comes to this thing, right? A lot of false dates, a lot of misinformation when it comes to this Errol Spence Terrence Crawford thing. You know what I mean? When they gave us the dates earlier, right? When they gave us the other dates earlier, I reported this to you guys on my channel, told you guys about the drop or whatever. It was October 29th, and then it was October 29th, and then it was August sometime, right? And the most latest rumor right now is November 19th. November 19th. But you know what I started thinking? And people may not like, my way of thinking, or people may not like me saying this, right? But I'm the kind of guy who listen to people when they talk, right? And I've been listening to Bud, right? So now the new rumor, right? The new rumor and the new date is November 19th. Now, notice it's already October. Today is officially October 1st. September 1st, my bad. It's officially September now, right? It's already September. It's September 1st, right? So it's September 1st now. If Errol Spence's in Terrence Crawford is going to happen, it will happen on November the 19th, right? So that leaves us less than 60 days. That leaves us less than 60 days for them to announce Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford, right? That's less than 60 days for people, to get their money together, to get their tickets together, to get everything they need to get together. You know what I mean? In order to be able to attend this fight. This ain't going to be an inexpensive fight. You know what I mean? Not going to be an inexpensive fight by a long shot. So that was good, Josh Sanders. Appreciate you sliding through. So roughly, right, that will leave us only with about, from today, 30/19. That leave us 49 days. That will literally leave us 49 days from today in order for them to announce this Errol Spence versus Bud fight, to get us ready, to go, right, to get tickets on sale and everything. It's less than 49 days. So realistically, right, y'all, if it's September the 1st, realistically, right, in a perfect world, it would have been much better for them to announce this fight last month if they were going to announce it for this year, right? Now, people are hyped. People are hyped about this November 19th date. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save my excitement. I'm going to save my hype. I'm going to save all of it this time until it's officially announced. Because if you asking Southern T, right, what's good, yo? Because if you asking Southern T, right, again, I tell y'all all the time, they don't pay me enough to lie to y'all. You know what I mean? They are paying motherfuckers out here. They don't pay me enough to lie to y'all. You know what I mean? They might have paid a nigga enough to hold me over, but they don't pay me enough to keep lying to y'all. You know what I mean? So the chances that this fight happens, right? The chances that this fight happens are below 50% right now at this point. The chances that this fight actually happens are below 50% at this point. You know what I mean? But And this how I'm giving it to my Southern T people. Y'all know I'm gonna give it to y'all raw. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. Which I'm gonna give it to y'all raw. The chances of this fight happening is less than 50%. You know what I mean? It's less than 50%. And you could put that together, you know what I mean, on your own. Like I just told you. Pay attention to the timing. YouTube. Pay attention, you know what I mean, to the timing of the fight. November 19th. It's September 1st. That's less than 49 days. So you mean to tell me they're about to put on the biggest fight in boxing, the biggest fight of the year. They're about to put on the biggest fight in boxing and the biggest fight of the year and give the fans less than 49 days to prepare into a 10. The reason that this new date is being put forth, November 19th date, that's not the date that the fight is going to happen. That's the date. That's the date that they projecting the fight to happen now. Just like October 29th was the last projected date. You know what I mean? Was it September 29th? You know, it's been like 2 or 3 dates, since then. Oh, yeah, yep. So it was 2 dates, before this. I can't remember what it was exactly. Was it April 29th? No, not April 29th. August 29th. It was August 29th. And then we heard like September 15th or something like that. And now we hearing November 19th. What these dates are, what these dates were, right? What these dates are, these dates was just, venues. PBC got the venue, PBC got the date. They had a few dates, but the more time, there's the more time before the fight is called, right? Then the less dates and the less venues they have available. You know what I mean? So right now, this is just the next open date and the next open venue that they have. You know what I mean? So it's not set in stone, that this fight is going to happen. November 19th is the new date that they got locked in. Now, a fight is going to happen regardless. You know what I mean? A fight is going to happen regardless. Now, Bud Crawford and Team Bud told you right now, the holdup is it's a money issue, right? They told you that it's a money issue, right? So the longer it takes to negotiate, the more likely it is for us not to get this fight, at least this year. You know what I mean? And if the fight goes beyond this year, right? And if it goes beyond this year, that's kind of gonna be a slap in the face. But if it goes beyond this year, who's to even say that, Earl Spence or Bud Crawford are even going to still be at 147? We know Earl Spence wants to go up to 154 after this fight. Bud Crawford said that he's not fighting into his late 40s. You know what I mean? Okay, but and rather you feel like, they should pay Bud, amount of money that he never made before in his life, right? Or rather you feel like Bud should take, the budget they're offering for this fight, like he pretty much go do in the next fight. He go take the budget. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So Bud left his promotional company, Don Vaughn said. So that means that, the promotional company that he left, he don't have to split that money with them anymore. He said that he wanted 50-50 when he was with Bob Arum. He's not with Bob Arum anymore. You know what I mean? So now he gets more of that 50-50. You know what I mean? And truthfully, it's not, a money issue. You know what I mean? It's not a money issue. That's the problem. It's it's getting Bud to actually, sign the contract. Now, for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, it ain't been signed yet. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it hasn't been signed yet. You know what I mean? Hold on, this dude right here kind of throwing off. He kind of throwing off the purpose of the video. Let me put him in timeout for a second so I could think straight. My bad. Well, yeah. So we got Bud saying, really, they're still negotiating. Earl Spence and the PBC side is ready, right? We got Bud on his side saying that, they need a little more money, right? So because that is the issue, like, I don't care whether you feel it's Earl Spence's fault. I don't care if you feel it's Terrence Bud Crawford's fault. And if you come in here with that kind of energy, I'm timing you out because you throwing me off right now. You know what I mean? This ain't about who fault it is or what fault or nothing. I'm not in here to jump on Bud. I'm not in here to jump on Earl. And I'm not encouraging none of that weirdo behavior either. For real, like, I'm timing y'all ass out. You know what I mean? Because y'all be throwing off my train of thought coming here with all that dividing spirit and all that shit. So that ain't what we on. Right now. I'm talking about the actual fight date is happening, about the actual fight date and the fight happening or not happening. I'm talking to the people right now. To try to get the people to understand that this is just a projected date. This is not a set fight date. This is the open arena that the PBC has. This is the open date that the PBC has. You know what I mean? It's up to Terrence Bud Crawford, to accept or not accept, which is completely his choice, right? But what I'm here to tell y'all is the longer and the closer that we get to the end of this year, the more likely that this fight won't be happening. You know what I mean? And that kind of got me to thinking, right? Would this, we say this and we say that, right? We say a lot of these things. You don't come here with that, don't you? We ain't on that right now, bro. We ain't on that right now. You come right in with all that negative ass shit, bro. We ain't on there, bro. That ain't what we here for, bro. That's the exact opposite of what I want. You know what I mean? So now rather this fight do or don't happen for whatever reason, good, bad, or indifferent, right? This November 19th thing is a projected date. This is not a set date. You know what I mean? So I personally think, as fans, it may be time for us to just move past all this. You know what I mean? It may be time for us just to move past all this, right? Because, if Team Bud can't seem to come up with a number. They can't sing, right? I ain't gonna say Team Bud. They can't sing, right? Team Bud and Espinoza, they can't seem to come up with a number that's do fit for Bud. Kind of like, the Manny Pacquiao situation is starting to feel like that. It's starting to feel like that to me. And we never got Bud versus Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to feel like that we're not going to get Bud versus Errol. You know what I mean? Especially with the time running down in the end of the year. We have no announced date. It's like every month they push a date back. They push the date back and say, well, we got a new date this month. We got a new date this month. We got a new date this month. And then at the end of this month, they go be telling you, oh, well, we got a new date for December. Oh, well, they go fight in January. They go fight in January for sure. You know what I mean? When really, in reality, the truth is that nobody really knows when they're going to fight because it's dependent on Bud and his side, agreeing to the terms. You know what I mean? And the one of the last open dates that they have is November 19th, which is why they're saying it. But I want y'all to use your own minds. I want y'all to think for yourself for a second. Now, I said earlier that we only got 49 days in between there. You know what I mean? It's September 1st, October, November. The first is October. It's September, right? September. We got September, October, and November. It's September 1st. So 30 days. So 30 days will be motherfucking October 1st. 30 days after that will be November 1st. So we got 69 days. So we got about 2 months. Roughly 2 months. A little over 2 months, like 10 weeks. We got a little over 10 weeks, right? For them to announce this fight, for them to announce the venue, and for us to get our money right. Now, realistically, the reason I said we got about 39 days is because shit, it's gonna take 30 days, for us to even prepare. You know what I mean? Who if they announce the fight this month, right? It will be after the first. So we on the clock right now, right? But if they announce the fight this month, let's say they announce the fight on the next card, right? Which will be the 10th, the 3rd, which will be the 3rd. Let's say they announce the fight on the 3rd. So we'll have from the 3rd to the 19th to get our money ready, to get our trips ready, to get our off days in to attend this fight. That's not going to cause for a successful fight. You know what I mean? They can't pay Bud, right? They can't pay Bud $20 million, right? And then not have any promotion going on for the fight. You know what I mean? He said, but I check every single base and venue for the date. Every venue, states are booked to the T. No fight dates for either city. Me and Trick, no T. Check. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, Judah. That's what I'm saying, Judah. You know what I mean? And that's why we here, having this conversation. You know what I mean? He said, could it be in Texas? I mean, it could, but Bud said he don't want to fight in Texas. You know what I mean? My thing is, y'all, it's time for us to probably move on from this. Now, everybody gonna have their reason why this and why that. You see the detractors come in bright and early with all the Earl and the PBC and all that. See, so that's what he believed. But a guy like me personally, you could have whatever reason you want to. You know what I mean? You could have whatever reason you want to, but I think at this point, these new dates and all this new information and all this shit, that's blowing smoke to keep y'all interested. They don't pay me enough to lie to y'all. That's blowing smoke. That's blowing smoke, to keep y'all interested. Now this fight is all a go. This fight is all hands on deck. Everything in this fight is set up. The only thing that this fight is missing is Bud's signature. You know what I mean? That's the only thing this fight is missing is Bud's signature. And at this point, we can't keep waiting on it. You know what I mean? We can't keep waiting on the signature. You know what I mean? Is this whole fight in general, just the conversation of this fight causes a divide. You know what I mean? It causes a divide. The conversation of this fight. I would rather this one of these fights where I would rather not talk about it until it actually happens. Like I hate it's, and then y'all notice like right when all the fans are saying, oh, this fight ain't gonna happen. This fight ain't gonna happen, right? They hit us with a new date. They always hit up with updated information, or it's always an updated rumor as soon as people start to catch on to the fact that, that this fight probably ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? They always, oh, well, we got a new day. Oh, well, we still working on it, But if you really pay attention to it, like, now let's just pay attention to the facts, right? Let's just pay attention to what's been said by both parties. Bomac said that it's 50-50. Bomac said that he wanted 50-50, right? Turn said that he don't really want or need this fight. You know what I mean? So if Bud isn't going to budge off his price, right? And the PBC, right, ain't gonna give him $20 million, right? If Bud not gonna budge off his price and the PBC not going to give him more than what he's worth, then I think, we could pretty much chalk this shit up as this fight not happening. Now these dates that they keep throwing out again, these are proposed dates. These are proposed dates. You know what I mean? And it's a couple fighters I got on this graphic. A bunch of great fighters: Marvin Hagler, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Mike Tyson, David Tua. You know what I mean? There's some great fighters on this, on this banner right now. And I put those fighters, up there for a reason. I chose this banner for a reason, right? What's good, Monster Musa Lifestyle? Appreciate you sliding through. If y'all could, do your boy a favor. Can you smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in? Don't know how many of y'all in here right now, but if everybody in here could, smash that thumbs up for your boy. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. You know what I mean? But I put this banner up here for a reason, right? For a reason in particular, I chose this banner. The guys on this banner, they have something in common. The guys on this banner, they have something in common. All are great fighters who didn't fight that one particular fight, that the people wanted them to. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not giving a reason. I'm not saying that, oh, blame Lennox Lewis. I'm not saying, oh, blame Riddick Bowe. I'm not saying blame Eric Morales. I'm not saying blame Juan Manuel Marquez. I'm not saying who else in there. Mike Tyson, David Tua. I'm not pointing the blame at anybody, right? I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, right? But what I'm saying is those are fights that didn't happen, right? This wouldn't be, the first time, not even in our era or any era. I just told you, Manny Pacquiao and Bud never fought. That was a big fight that they was building up. You know what I mean? They never fought. You know what I mean? So this wouldn't be the first time, right? We didn't get a big fight that, we wanted. It wouldn't be the first time. So I'm saying that to say this. I said all that to say this. History, now whether we want to, believe it or not, history is going to pick a winner and history is going to pick a loser from this situation. And I tell you this. History always picks a winner and they always pick a loser, because watch this. Let me tell you something. When Mike Tyson, I'm going to use him next, right? When Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe were actually boxing, right? When they were actually when they were actually boxing, like active boxers, when they were in their prime, their heydays and shit, right? The people liked Riddick Bowe way more than they liked Lennox Lewis. They liked Riddick Bowe way more than they liked Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? Wasn't even close. Riddick Bowe was in movies. Riddick Bowe was on TV shows. He was that man. You know what I mean? Big black dude, nice looking guy. You know what I mean? Heavyweight champ of the world. They loved Bowe back then. And even when him and Lewis didn't fight, right? Even when him and Lewis didn't fight, some people, especially right when it happened, a lot of people, right? They took, on both sides. Oh, Bowe, you ain't got to fight him. Oh, Bowe still the greatest. Forget Lennox Lewis. He from the UK. Blase, he boring. Bowe, the best. Bowe will kill him. You know what I mean? And that lasted. That lasted for a long time, right? That lasted for a long time. Right? But something happened, though. What happened, though, y'all? And I appreciate y'all kicking it, too. You're letting people hear this kicking it. I appreciate y'all kicking it for story time. But what happened, though, right? Because there was a time, right, where Bowe was seen as a bigger star, where Bowe was more loved, where Bowe was more adored. Riddick Bowe was that guy. But something happened as time went on, right? Riddick Bowe retired, right? But Lennox Lewis, he kept fighting. Y'all kind of see where I'm going with this? Bowe retired first. Lennox Lewis, he kept on fighting. He fought longer, right? So Lennox Lewis, after the fight didn't happen, right? After the fight didn't happen, y'all know y'all don't like. I know y'all don't like where I'm going with this. It's okay. It's okay. But after the fight didn't happen, right? Riddick Bowe, he fought a little bit more than he retired. But Lennox Lewis, he fought for years after that. He fought a lot longer than Bowe. Now, what changed was Bo Jackson. I said Bo Jackson. What happened was Riddick Bowe, was a little older, a little longer, right? A little longer in his career than Lennox Lewis. So Lennox Lewis had more time to, keep riding his legacy. He had more time to continue his legacy and go on to do other things. And if you look up today, right now, in the boxing world, Lennox Lewis is revered in a better light than Riddick Bowe. But at the time of this whole situation, Riddick Bowe was a much, much bigger star. Much, much bigger name than Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? But Bowe career came to an end before Lennox's. So Lennox had more time to put that fight behind him. And it stuck with Riddick Bowe because that was near the end of his career. And that was one of the lasting moments on Riddick Bowe's career. Lennox Lewis was able to surpass Bowe because he had more time left. He had more miles on his car left than Bowe. So now history looks at Lennox Lewis to be better than Riddick Bowe. And maybe Riddick Bowe is just as good as Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? Just as good as the Ali's and all that shit. But history says, right? Lennox Lewis is better now. But back then, when the fight first didn't happen, right? When we didn't get Lewis and Bowe was seen as the better guy. What I'm saying is Errol Spence has more time left in his career. He has more time to put this fight not happening behind him than Bud Crawford does. Now, I don't feel like this fight is going to happen. And I truthfully like, I'm starting not to really care if it happened or not. Right? But I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm just fine with it not happening, right? But history is going to pick a side here. History is going to tell you, oh, one of these fighters are better than the other fighter. And history is going to tell you, oh, one of these fighters ducked the other fighter. History, history is going to tell you that, right? So everything done in the dark will come to light. So right now, you know, people could say this, people could say that, because just like back then, Riddick Bowe was saying Lewis was ducking. Lewis said Riddick Bowe ducked, right? And everybody had their opinions. But history reveals all. History speaks for itself. Fast forward to 2022. Most people tell you Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. Most people tell you Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. Most people tell you Lennox Lewis is a better heavyweight than Riddick Bowe. Most people tell you, right? Most people tell you Lennox Lewis is one of the best heavyweights ever. When we mention boxers and we mention heavyweights, Lennox Lewis is mentioned before Riddick Bowe. But it wasn't always like that. Y'all ain't hearing me right now, is it? Y'all ain't hearing me. Bowe used to be seen as the best boxer in the world. Pound for pound. He didn't fight Lennox Lewis. He threw the belt in the trash. And even right then, Riddick Bowe still had a massive fan base. He still had his core fan group. He still had the boxing world loving him. And Lennox Lewis was the outside kid from Haiti, Jamaica, London, UK, right? But as time went on, Lennox Lewis stuck around a little longer, and he was able to show and prove to you the great champion that he was. He was to show you the great champion, that he and D-Man, I'm talking about this one fight. I'm talking about the biggest fight. The biggest fight was between Bowe and Lennox. You know what I mean? That's the fight everybody wanted. That was after he beat Holyfield. You know what I mean? The biggest fight everybody wanted was Lennox and Bowe. And I'm not even saying that he ducked, right? I'm saying back then, D-Man, people were saying that, he didn't duck. People were saying that, oh, Bowe ducked. People were saying Bowe duck. People were saying Lewis duck. You know what I mean? They were saying Bowe duck, Lewis duck, Bowe duck, Lewis duck. They duck, Lewis ducked him, Bowe ducked him, Lewis ducked him, Bowe. It was an argument. But history is going to decide for us. Like right now, you got heavy people saying, oh, Bud duck, oh, Earl duck, oh, Bud duck, oh, Earl duck. But how is Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis seen right now? What's good, MP? What the fuck? Appreciate you sliding through. D-Man, how is Riddick Bowe and Lewis seen right now? We all see Lennox Lewis as the better fighter. But back then, people was telling you Lewis ducked. But the truth is always going to be revealed. The truth is always going to come out. The people are going to decide whether if this fight don't happen, the people are going to decide who ducked and who didn't duck. You know what I mean? Whichever story is going to be able to ring the loudest. What I'm saying is, Errol Spence, being the younger fighter, the fighter with less miles, the fighter with more years left on his boxing career, Lennox Lewis, right? He's going to have a longer lasting impression in our minds than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is 35 years old. He told you he's not fighting until his late 30s. So he has retirement coming up sooner than later. Maybe 2 or 3 fights. Errol Spence has more longevity right now than Terrence Bud Crawford, just like Lennox Lewis had more longevity than Riddick Bowe. Now, we know that both these guys are great fighters, Bowe and Lewis, just like Earl and Bud. We know that. And that's what everybody was saying back then. Both these guys great. He ducked him. But now, when you fast forward and look at it, most people will tell you that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. You see what I'm saying? Facts, D-Man. But D-Man, when it first happened though, Riddick Bowe was seen as the bigger star. He had more fans here. He was seen as the guy everybody liked. When it first happened, people was like, Now Bo didn't duck. Fuck them titles. Bo ain't duck him. Blase, blase, blase. Right? But as time went on, the narrative became that Bo ducked because the truth is going to always come out. And I'm saying, and it came out that way because Lennox Lewis was able to have a longer lasting impression. He went on to do great things. He went on to beat Mike Tyson. He went on to do this and do that, which put in our face. He had the last word because he had the longer boxing career. You get what I'm saying? Right now, I'm feeling like Earl and Bud probably not going to happen, right? For whatever reason, it is not going to happen. And you can have your reason, right? I can have my reason, and that's cool. But history is going to pick. History is going to reveal the truth. History is going to show us, the who's who and the what's what. You see what I'm, Josh? You know what I mean? So right now, right now, in the thick of it, right? Oh, Earl ducked. Oh, Bud ducked. Oh, he ducked. 50-50, he want the money. Oh, pay him more money. Pay him this. Pay him that. You know what I mean? Pay him this. Pay him that. Right now, it's a conversation. But after a while, when their careers unfold, if they never fight, right, the people are going to decide. And if they never fight, Earl Spence is going to be able to make a better case. Just like Lennox Lewis was able to make a better case because he had more fights that was lasted in our minds because he was the younger guy of the situation. He had more time, you know what I mean, to show us that he was great. That was towards the end of Riddick Bowe's career. He didn't have much time to show us that he was great. We knew that he was great already. But when you get a guy, an up-and-coming guy like Lewis, that people think is great too, and you decide not to fight him, Terrence and Earl. When you get a guy like Lewis who's up-and-coming great, and you decide not to fight him, and people actually get a chance to see him fight after you or a little longer than you, people tend, Lennox Lewis won over the American fans. He won over the American crowd. It's this word used in boxing, right, called marketability. Marketability, right? Marketability. Back then at that time, right? Riddick Bowe was 10 times more marketable than Lennox Lewis, right? But now, if you say Lennox Lewis, you say Riddick Bowe. Now, people gonna know both of them, right? But most people recognize Lennox Lewis before they recognize Riddick Bowe. If you sit both of them on the street next to each other, I believe more people will recognize Lennox Lewis on the back end of their career. You know what I mean? Now, if you put them back in like in the 70s and the 80s and shit, then more people will recognize Bo. You get what I'm saying? But that's exactly what I'm getting at. Time reveals all. Time changes things. Back in the 80s, it would have been Bo. But as Lewis continued to fight, Lewis became that guy. You know what I mean? So, for whatever reason, right, that we may feel like Earl and Bud won't fight, right? They not gonna fight. I'm telling you, cool. Don't even worry your pretty little head, right? Don't even worry your pretty little head. You ain't gotta come here like the guy came here earlier. Oh, it's the PBC fault. It's Earl's fault. They saving Earl. Turns the boogeyman. Cool. I feel that. That's cool. You could run with it. Just like, people ran with the Riddick Bowe. People ran with the Riddick Bowe situation. Just like people ran with, oh, he not ducking links. He not ducking links. But as time went on, it kind of changed a little bit. It kind of changed a little bit. You know what I mean? People start to realize, wait, Riddick Bowe, my favorite heavyweight. But Lennox Lewis is better than Bowe. That's the truth. And I love Bowe way more. But Lennox is better because Bowe, you had a chance to fight him and you did it. That's why people view Lennox as better now. Because you had the crown, Bowe, right? You was pound for pound king, bro. You had the crown, but people saw you. But people saw you not fight Lennox Lewis, and that got more people looking at Lennox Lewis. So yeah, Riddick Bowe was already a Hall of Famer. Riddick Bowe was already solidified, which is why he probably thought that he didn't have to fight Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? He probably thought he didn't have to fight Lennox Lewis because he was already solidified. He was already a Hall of Famer. But as the years go on, Riddick Bowe retired. Lennox Lewis, he kept fighting. So Lennox Lewis is now giving us the fights that we want to see. He putting these lifetime lasting images and memories of all these great fights that he's partaking in our minds. And Riddick Bowe is at home retired. So now we forgetting about Bowe. We didn't forget about Lennox and Bowe even supposed to having a fight, because now Lennox Lewis is out here beating up Holyfield. Lennox Lewis is out here beating up Mike Tyson because he had more miles left on the tread. He was able to put something else inside of our minds. He was able to put something else inside of our minds after Riddick Bowe. Terence Crawford is not going to be able to put nothing in our minds after this Errol Spence fight if it don't happen. You know what I mean? Errol Spence is going to be fighting past when Terence Crawford is going to be fighting. So he's going to be the one that makes that lasting impression on us. You know what I mean? Because we're Terence Crawford, right? The only big win that Terence Crawford could get right now is Errol Spence. You know what I mean? It's Errol Spence. And people could tell you, well, he could fight Jermell. So, well, Jermell is a PBC fighter. You know what I mean? He's a PBC fighter. So the same people that he would have to deal with to make that fight will be the same people that he would have to deal with to make the Errol Spence fight. You know what I mean? So the likelihood of him fighting Jermell is unlikely. Jermell is about to fight Tim Tszyu. So that means if Terence Crawford was going to fight Jermell, he would do that at the end of next year. You know what I mean? He would do that at the end of next year. And plus, Bud's at 147, Jermell's at 154. So we know that fight not going to happen. Right? We know that fight not going to happen. And Jermell already told you he not fighting him. And just like you could say, well, Bud could fight Jermell, so can Errol Spence. And Errol Spence over on that side with him. You know what I mean? But who could Bud fight, right? That will be a bigger name than Errol Spence, right? And he's on the back end of his career. Errol Spence, the fact that Errol Spence has a couple more years left, right? He's not at the point where he has to make, big fight after big fight after big fight right now. Even though that's what he's been doing, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Ugas, that's what he's been doing, big fight after big fight after big fight after big fight. But he's not at the point where he has to do that. He still has some years left. Bud is on the back end of his career. If he doesn't fight Errol Spence, right? If he doesn't fight, he's only above fight Tank or Canelo, which ain't happening. He already said he's not fighting Canelo, and Tank too small. You know what I mean? So Bud is already on the back end of his career. And if you listen to Bud talk, it sounded more like Bud will retire, before he do some shit that he don't want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm thinking he'll retire before he do some shit he don't want to do. So, I just don't see a situation where both guys come out unscathed from this, right? I don't see a situation where both guys, if this fight don't happen, right? I don't see a situation where both guys come out unscathed, right? And I think eventually, over time, because Earl is the younger fighter with more miles left, and he still has, things to do in boxing. Where Bud is, he's kind of already made his impression in our mind. He's kind of already cemented, his legacy in our mind, as he tells us a lot, right? He not already cemented it. He don't have to do much more to get into the Hall of Fame. Kind of like Riddick Bowe, you know what I mean? At the point of Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe was already in the Hall of Fame. Lennox Lewis was the new guy coming up, taking names and shit like that. Riddick Bowe was already in the Hall of Fame, right? Riddick Bowe was seen as the bigger star at that time. He was seen as the hotter commodity at that time, was Riddick Bowe. But over time, Lennox Lewis kept fighting. He kept getting in there with good fighters, giving us good fights, right? And he kind of changed the narrative about Riddick Bowe being better than him. And he also changed the narrative about Riddick Bowe ducking him. You know what I mean? Because he was able to continue his career longer. You know what I mean? Because he was the younger guy. He had more fights left at that point. Because he was able to continue his career longer and put more memories and more impressions in our mind. And because we know Riddick Bowe was already great, right? But Riddick Bowe not boxing anymore. So we know he great, but he not boxing anymore. Lennox Lewis was still boxing, beating Mike Tyson, beating Evander Holyfield. You know what I mean? And people start to say, oh, well, damn, this Lennox Lewis guy is pretty fucking good. Why didn't Bowe fight him? Bowe should have fought this guy. Him and Bowe fight would have been great. This guy's still looking good, even since that Bowe situation. Bowe retired already. And I think in this situation, Bowe is Bud and Lennox is Earl. Except it's reversed in the sense that Earl Spence is marketable like Riddick Bowe. But he's the young fighter with something to prove in this situation, like Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? So he has all of the straps. He has the bigger profile, and he's the younger guy in this fight. You know what I mean? Bud is seen as number one ranked pound for pound. He's seen as the best, right? That's why he Lennox Bowe. I said Lennox Bowe. That's why, he's Riddick Bowe, because he's seen this pound for pound number one. He's seen as the best. And he does have a big fan base. Earl has a bigger fan base. So that's where they different at. And they're right. That's where the Bowe and Lewis a little different, because Earl is the one with the name in the cloud. He just happened to be the younger fighter. Bud is the older fighter with the ranking, right? And again, they do not have to fight. People are saying, and I get it. I'm already Hall of Fame. I don't have to fight Earl. I'm already undisputed. I get it. But you're about to retire soon. You're going to stop fighting before Earl Spence does. So that means that you're going to be further away from our minds when it comes to this boxing shit than Earl Spence. For at least, Earl Spence will be fighting at least 4 years after Bud retires. Understand that, right? So when you right now, we care about you. You know what I'm saying? We care about what you do. But the drawback from Bud not fighting Earl Spence is going to have him remembered like Riddick Bowe compared to Lennox Lewis. I'm going to say that again. Bud, you are number one. But if you don't fight EJ, you're going to be seen like Riddick Bowe later on down the line. You know what I mean? Because people cater to you. People tell you this and they tell you that now because you're still in boxing. You're still pretty active. You know what I mean? But once you step away from the game, you're not going to be in our face like that. Earl Spence will still be fighting. You're not going to be in our face like that. So basically, you and I are going to be watching Earl Spence continue his career. He's going to do this, do that, probably win another belt, maybe win undisputed. Who knows? You know what I mean? So we're going to be watching him. You're going to be watching him. And that's going to be pushing you further away from our mind. If America can forget about Riddick fucking Bowe, if they can change their minds on Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, What make you think? What make you think that they won't change their minds on you? You get what I'm saying? Right now, right now you have a lot. Right now, Bud has a lot of fans. He has a lot of fans right now because he's boxing. But after Bud retires, the Earl Spence fans, we still gonna be here going strong. We still gonna be here going strong. A lot of y'all gonna be in here listening to us talk about Earl Spence. So eventually, you're going to start to sway your opinion on that man because your fight is going to no longer be in the spotlight. He gonna be retired, just like Lennox Lewis was. Lennox Lewis not even from here, and he was able to sway the people like that. And again, these fighters don't have to fight each other for whatever reason. You know, for whatever reason you want to say it's Earl fault, it's Bud fault. Whatever reason you can pick. Whatever the reason you could pick. I said, Grease, where you been, bro? Where you been, bro? Where you been? Where you been, bro? Where have you been, Grease? Did y'all not hear me say? The only difference is that Earl the one with the fans and not Bud? Where you been, Grease? You just got here. Did you come back? Did you just get back in here, Grease Fire? Did you just park back in here? I think you just came back then. I'm pretty sure you just came back. But anyway, I digress. What's good, Professor X? Appreciate you sliding through this jump. I literally just said that, Grease Fire. Appreciate you sliding through this jump, Professor X. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. I'm in here, talking about the biggest fight in boxing. I'm not finna go down and break that whole analogy now. Y'all gonna have to catch. Y'all gonna have to catch the replay. That shit be kind of frustrating. I ain't gonna lie. But fuck it. What's good, St. Louis? What's good, St. Louis? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Glad you can make it. DS, bro. Man, I need them to listen. I need people to listen when they come in. Or at least listen to the first 5 minutes or something. Type shit when you jump in and you jump out. But yeah, I broke that shit down to a T. I don't know how else I can break it down for you. You know what I mean? But St. Louis, I'm in here. The new date, the new projected date, right, is November 19th. Now I'm just in here. Long story short, I don't believe that date. I don't believe that bullshit. Don't believe the fight gonna happen at all. I don't believe the fight gonna happen at all. I'm not believing no more phantom dates or no shit like that, right? I'm not believing no more phantom dates or nothing like that. I don't believe it's happening. But the new projected date is November 19th. But for a second, right? Because I know we all gonna get excited about the new date and everything and whatnot. But just for a second, let's think, right? Let's just say that this fight don't happen. Now, before everybody, start telling me Earl ducked, or everybody, or y'all start telling me Earl ducking, or y'all start telling me Bud ducking, I want y'all to hear for a second, right? No matter what reason you feel like, the person ducked, you feel like he ducked, you feel like Earl ducked, you feel like Bud ducked. I don't care if it's a good reason or a bad reason, right? Whatever the reason, you keep it. I want you to keep the reason. You ain't got to tell me. If Earl scared, cool. If Bud scared, cool. You ain't got to tell me the reason, right? But what I'm saying is, history always picks a winner, whether they actually fight or they don't fight. History, the fans, and the people are going to pick a winner of this situation. They're going to pick a winner of this situation. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to argue throughout the situation. I'm going to let it work itself out. But speaking if they don't fight, right? Speaking if they don't fight, history is going to pick a winner of this situation. For example, what you mean by that, Sudden T? The example I gave was Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe. Sudden T, what you mean? Okay, just hear me out for a second. Now, the only difference in this is Grease with Fire. My brother Grease, you there, Grease? Now, the only difference in this situation is that Errol Spence is the more popular fighter, which is an even bigger detriment to Bud Crawford, right? The only difference in this situation is Errol Spence is the more popular fighter. But listen to what I'm saying. And that's an even bigger detriment to Bud Crawford. But hear me out. Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound number one. Riddick Bowe had fans. Bud do got fans. He may not have more than Earl, but he do got fans. He got a lot of fans, right? Because you see him in here on these chats and shit when we start talking about Earl Spence. So Bud do got fans. So Riddick Bowe had a huge fan base. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound number one. Riddick Bowe was seen as the best boxer in his division, like Bud Crawford is. People loved Bowe. We didn't even know Lennox Lewis. He wasn't from her. Everybody hated Lennox Lewis. He wasn't from her. He won out. They used to call him boring and all that shit. They used to call Lennox all that shit. You hated Lewis at the time. People were saying, right, oh, Bowe and Lewis should fight. And when Bowe and Lewis didn't fight, people were saying, oh, Lewis dug Bowe. Bowe dug Lewis. Lewis dug Bowe. Bowe dug Lewis. You know what I mean? So, however you felt about it at that time, right? Whether Lewis dug Bowe or Bowe dug Lewis, however you felt about it, that's what people were saying, right? So you fast forward to right now, present day. Fast forward to right now, present day. Who is more popular? And who do the people say ducked who? It's no longer a debate. It's no longer a battle about who ducked who ducked who. Bowe Lewis, Bowe ducked. Right now, everybody's going to tell you that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. Everybody's going to tell you that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis, right? History always is going to pick a winner. History is always going to pick a side. The people are always going to pick a winner. Whether the fight happens or doesn't happen, the people are going to pick a winner. Now, the reason that I believe Lennox Lewis now, history, right? History, right? Like right now, when you're in the thick of it, it's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be an argument. It's going to be a debate. But history will pick a winner. And the winner out of that Lennox Lewis Riddick Bowe situation is Lennox Lewis. Because Lennox Lewis was the younger fighter. He had less mileage on his legs, on his boxing career, right? On his body. He had less mileage on his body. He was the younger fighter. He had more fights left in him than that point. Riddick Bowe was already in the Hall of Fame. He was already solidified. He was already seen as one of the best. You know, he didn't have to do anything extra. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do anything extra. You know what I mean? So he didn't. He didn't fight Lewis. And for a long time, you know, people argue back and forth, man. Bowe dug Lewis. Lewis dug Bowe. Bowe dug Lewis. Lewis dug Bowe. Bowe dug Lewis. Lewis dug Bowe. You know, but right now, if you ask people, Bowe dug Lennox Lewis, and everybody will tell you that. And I think that was because Lewis was able to continue his career after Bowe retired. Lennox Lewis was able to put even more thoughts and history and memories in our mind with his good fights. He went on to beat Mike. He went on to beat Evander. You know what I mean? He went on to beat every guy that, you know, beat him type deal. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis gave us a bunch of great fights after Riddick Bowe had already took his place in history, after he had already, you know, stepped away from the game. And that don't take nothing away from Bowe, because Riddick Bowe still is a Hall of Famer. Riddick Bowe is still a Hall of Famer. He's still seen as one of the greats. He's still one of the best of all times. But history says, Bo, there was more that you could have did, and you could have fought Lennox Lewis. And in large part into that is because Lennox Lewis was able to put more stamps in our mind, because you was retired, right? You was retired. Now, the game ain't never go forget about you, but the game continues. So we're going to keep watching the game. When you retire, but we can't watch you no more, just like we couldn't watch Bo. But we could watch Lewis, the other guy that was involved in this situation, and he went on to keep doing great things. So Bud and Earl, it correlates because whether they fight or not, right? Let's say that they don't fight. If they don't fight, Earl Spence is going to have more opportunity to cover up this spot right here, you know, this muggy spot right here between them two. Earl Spence gonna have more time in his career to cover up this muggy spot. He gonna be able to put a lot of ground between this situation and the end of his career. Terrence Crawford is not going to be able to put a lot of ground between this situation and the end of his career. He's not going to be able to do that because he's going to retire a lot sooner than Earl. So he's going to retire like the great Riddick Bowe. It's one of the best. It's one of the greats, pound for pound. But Earl Spence's career will continue. We will see him longer. We will see him in more fights because he's still going to be fighting, right? While Bud is retired or in the Hall of Fame. So he's going to have more opportunity to come back from this than the Bud Crawford is. So if the people, right, what I'm saying is, right, and to what my guy Grease with Fire said, he said he disagreed with me, but he really agreed with me. He just wasn't listening correctly because we said the same thing. He just said I disagreed before, which is what the fuck bothered me, right? But the only difference is Earl has more fans, but Riddick Bowe, Earl has more fans than Bud, right? But Bud still has fans. So right now, Bud fans, because they beat in here, right? They're going to be going back and forth with us. Oh, well, it was Earl's fault. It was Earl's fault. PBC, Earl. But after a while, and with you, Bud, you already have less fans than a Riddick Bowe. You not as loved as Riddick Bowe was loved back then. You know what I mean? You're not a bigger commodity to boxing now than Riddick Bowe was back then. You know what I mean? So if the people could, facts, you know what I'm saying, Teddy? If the people, now I'm agreeing with you, facts. He is a Hall of Fame. I exactly. And I know you trolling, Teddy. If the people can forget about Bowe, or if the people could change on Bowe, if the people could say, "Hey, Bowe, man, I think you did Doug Lewis after all." And at first they were saying Lewis dug Bowe, but Lewis kept going on. He kept providing those great fights for us to watch. You know what I mean? So he put a lot of distance between him and Bowe. He gave us a lot to look at between him and Bowe. You know what I mean? And the people eventually went with Lennox Lewis. History picked a winner. And the winner was Lennox Lewis between Bowe and Lewis. And they never fought. History is going to always pick a winner. You feel me? History is going to always pick a winner. You know what I mean? He's a fuck Bud Spence looking like the boogeyman again. A little bit, right? But I just think, I just know. So November 19th, the new date. I think the new date, is bullshit. I hope I'm wrong, right? I don't think that they go fight, but I hope I'm wrong, right? I hope they work it out, right? You know what I mean? But I personally don't think that we're going to get this fight. So today was us, today we came here to have a conversation about, if this fight don't happen and how it's going to be viewed. See, right now, people want to keep up mess. People want to argue. They want to go back and forth. Always Earl fault, always Bud fault. So, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because, like I said, it's going to work itself out and history will pick a winner. You know what I mean? History will pick a winner. And with Earl Spence being the younger fighter, having more fights left, kind of like Lennox Lewis, younger fighter having more fights left. Riddick Bowe being pound for pound, being one of the best fighters back then, just like Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? History tells you that Bowe ducked Lewis. But when it happened, people was telling you that Riddick Bowe didn't duck and Lewis ducked Bowe. You know what I mean? It was more even than it is now, right? It was more even than it is now. But now everybody's going to tell you that Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. So history is always going to pick a winner. What's true today may not be true 20 years from now, especially when you go have Earl Spence fighting a lot longer than Bud. You have Earl Spence in our faces a lot longer than Bud. You know what I mean? So he's going to have a lot more opportunity to put space between this. Bud is going to probably end his career on this note. You know what I mean? He's probably going to end his career with this Earl Spence situation. You know, he's probably going to end his career with this Earl Spence situation. You know what I mean? And that is going to be the lasting thought about Bud Crawford. This situation. Y'all ain't hear me, did it? The lasting thought about Bud Crawford isn't going to be him beating Sean Porter. Isn't going to be him beating Gamboa undefeated. Isn't going to be him knocking out Ndongo for undisputed. That's not going to be his Bud memory because he's too close to the end of his career, like Riddick Bowe. Truthfully, we probably are going to forget about all that shit that you did, Bud, because this is how you're going to end your career in this situation with Errol Spence. Just like we kind of forget all the shit that Riddick Bowe did because of the way that he ended his career. And Lennox Lewis continued here. So we got to watch Lennox a little more. We got to learn him a little more. We got to know him a little better without even having you around. So all we had to do was watch Lennox Lewis. We couldn't watch no more Bowe because Bowe was retired. And people like, oh, this Lennox Lewis dude is kind of good. Why didn't Bowe fight this guy? Bowe, you should have fought this guy. This guy is kind of good. He just beat up Mike Tyson. He just beat up Evander Holyfield. He beat up Evander Holyfield better than you did. You get what I'm saying? Like, damn, man, why didn't you fight this guy? And people are going to eventually, history is going to eventually pick a winner. Is the history going to say how you stop Porter, but then Doug Smith? Because think about this, and I love Bowe. Bowe was one of my favorite heavyweights growing up. Bowe was on the Will Smith show. Bowe was on the fucking Marlon's Wayne show. I saw Riddick Bowe some everywhere during my fucking childhood. I used to love Riddick Bowe. You know what I mean? Used to love fucking Bowe. If the people can turn their back on fucking Riddick Bowe, not turn their back, I ain't gonna say that because they just really chose the winner, right? They chose the side. They went with what they believed and they didn't turn their back on Bowe. If the people, what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck. If the people could forget about Riddick Bowe, if we can forget how great Riddick Bowe was, if we can forget all the shit that Riddick Bowe did, and all we can remember is him not fighting Lennox Lewis, what makes y'all think that Bud is any different? What makes you think Bud is any different? Right? And the reason I'm not saying this about Earl, people go try to, because they go, what they do is they take stuff that you say and they flip it. Well, why you don't say that about? Because Earl is going to have more fights to put distance between this situation. He's 32, not 35. He going to have more time to put distance in between this situation. Bud's going to retire before Earl. Earl still's going to be fighting. We're not going to see, this is not going to be Earl's last stand. It's not going to be his last, this not going to be his last thought in history. I mean, this not going to be his last fight or his last situation. Now, Riddick Bowe went on to fight after Lennox Lewis. True enough, he didn't fight as long as Lewis, but he did go on to fight after Lewis. But still, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. He's not going to have enough years to put enough distance in between this situation before the end of his career. You know what I mean? He said, one day the other thing is people really hate Earl. Those to lay free may stay on the square. No matter how their careers play out. Yeah, Tady, but it's not going to be enough people, Tady. It's not going to be enough people. And Tady, really think about this, Tady. Really think about this, Tady. Do anybody hate Earl more than they hated Lennox Lewis? Lennox Lewis wasn't even from here. Lennox Lewis had 0 fans. Earl already got more fans than Bud. It's not enough people. It's not enough people, Tady. It's still people who tell you Riddick Bowe didn't duck. But it's not enough of them. It's not enough of them. And especially, it's going to be even less when Earl keep continuing his career, right? And Bud is already retired. It's still people who will tell you Riddick Bowe didn't duck. But it's not enough of them. You feel me? It's not enough of them. But the fans, but history will pick a winner because they always do. They always do. History always picks a winner, man. And I'm just saying, me personally, November 19th, the November 19th date, I'm not putting too much on it. You know what I mean? I'm not putting so much on it because I think it's bullshit. I think if we were going to get an announcement, we probably would have had one a little sooner. I think it's going to be kind of difficult, to get the fight in November, and we got less than 60 days left. You know what I mean? We got less than 60 days left. I think it's going to be kind of difficult, to get that fight off in the time that they're saying, at least. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to feel about the November 19th date. I personally feel like that it's not happening. And if it do happen, it's not gonna happen this year. And I think if it don't happen this year, then Earl gonna be moved past it. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, right? But for whatever reason, it happens or it don't happen, right? For whatever reason, it happens or it don't happen, right? History will decide. And I think Earl Spence, hold on. History will decide on the winner, right? And I think Earl Spence is in a better situation to have history, on his side because he has more opportunity being the younger guy, like Lennox Lewis had. You know what I mean? But I had to do my due diligence and post the new date that they had been telling us because people been asking me about it. So and sometimes like I take a break, right? I take a break from this boxing shit where I might not say nothing, thinking maybe y'all see it somewhere else. It's certain people who only watch me, who only watch my show. So I'm gonna do a better fucking job, about doing, this shit every day. Even when I ain't feeling it, I'm gonna do better about coming here every single day and giving y'all this information because a lot of people, they do only watch Southern T, right? There are few people out here that only watch me. So if y'all not getting the info from me, y'all not getting it. So I'm gonna do better about dropping y'all with that info. Mayweather just said that you have to be the Hall of Famer to be in the Hall of Fame. Us haven't did it yet. Becoming undisputed now, I may put you in the Hall of Fame. Is who you beat. You got to be the Hall of Famer to become a Hall of Famer. I mean, well, Rocky in the Hall of Fame. So Rocky in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So did Rocky be the Hall of Famer? Did Antero Gaddy be the Hall of Famer? And Floyd say that a lot too because Floyd was never undisputed. He was never undisputed. You know what I mean? It's more than one way to get into the Hall of Fame. Beating the Hall of Famer does get you in the Hall of Fame, but somebody got to vote them people in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? And with Antero Gaddy and Rocky in there, you know what I mean? A lot of people will be getting in, but it's more than just one criteria. Beating the Hall of Famer is one criteria. Becoming undisputed is another criteria. Being a multi-division champion is another criteria. Beating the number one guy in your division, having 5 title defenses is another criteria. You know what I mean? So it's more than one way, to get in. It is more than one way to skin the cat. You know what I mean? But there is a real set of rules that get you into the Hall of Fame. There are criteria you have to meet. You don't have to meet all of them, but you do have to pass certain criteria, a certain one. I think it's only you need one. You can either have this or you can have that. And if you got all of them, then you first ballot. Get what I'm saying? But it's more than one way to get you in type deal. You know what I mean? Is that Floyd be saying anything? I beat the most champs. And then belts don't matter. Tay D, you on fire, my boy. My nigga Tay D is fucking smoking today, dog. For real, TD. Nah, them facts, my boy. I'm about to flex for your ass again, nigga. Teddy, why the fuck I ain't think of that, Teddy? Teddy, why the fuck I didn't? I'm playing 2K, by the way. Why the fuck I didn't think of that, Teddy? Bro, Floyd be saying any fucking thing. Bruh, he sure did say that shit, bruh. Dog, that man did say that dumbass shit, didn't it? He said, bruh, Floyd did beat the most champs too. He sure told me, best don't matter. What the fuck, though? But look, though, so you know what I'm saying, bro? So it's whatever you want to, you know what I mean? It's however you want to do it, bro. He's if Flo with Big Up and Lil fighting the same breath, all for the purpose of making him look good. Yeah, facts, bro. Yeah, facts, bro. But yeah, it's different. You know, it's different. It's different criteria to get in. Bud is most definitely a Hall of Famer. So is Earl Spence. You know what I mean? You could say, well, they ain't in yet. Well, true. All right, fine. You want to be Mr. Technical and shit, right? You want to be Mr. Technical? You can be Mr. Technical. But them guys is in the Hall of Fame. You know, them guys is in the Hall of Fame. True enough. You know what I mean? But that's not enough. I just gave y'all an example, right? And then think about this. Perfect example. Again, hear me out. When Lennox Lewis and Bo was going through this saga, when Lewis and Bo was going through this situation, Lennox Lewis was not a solidified Hall of Famer. Lennox Lewis was good, DP Rocker. Appreciate you sliding through this John DP Rocker. Lennox Lewis wasn't a solidified Hall of Famer when they was going through all this mess and shit that they went through. Lewis and Bo, that whole situation. Lewis wasn't a Hall of Famer when they was going through that. Lewis became a Hall of Famer after that situation. You know what I mean? So people, they jumping on here talking about, well, Bud already this, Bud already that. Earl trying to, like, yeah, that's now, bro. Y'all living in the moment. Y'all living in the moment. But life goes on. Life is not over with. Bud is one that's closer to retirement than Earl Spence. Like, life goes on. Yes, right now. He is right now. And if he don't fight him, yes, he will go to the Hall of Fame. But also, if he don't fight him, Earl Spence's career is going to continue a lot longer than Bud's because he's younger than Bud. So he's going to have more opportunity to do more things while Bud is already retired. Bud can't add to his legacy no more. Just like Riddick Bowe really didn't have much else to add to his legacy. But if he had to beat Lennox Lewis, he could have been considered better than fucking Muhammad Ali. He would have damn sure been considered better than fucking Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? If he would have beat Lewis, but he decided not to fight him. So he left open the conversation. People only look at things right now. People only look at things right now. Yeah, it's open for conversation now because we're living in the moment now. But if Earl and Bud don't fight, Bud probably going to retire in a fight or two. Earl is going to keep fighting. So what's now ain't going to be that 20 years from now, just like Lewis and Bo at that time, right? Bo was the Hall of Famer, the bigger name and all that shit. But now Lewis is also a Hall of Famer. Y'all ain't gonna hear that part, is it? Now, right? Now when it was going on, Lennox Lewis wasn't a Hall of Famer, Bo was. But now Lewis is a Hall of Famer, and Lennox Lewis is seen as better than Riddick Bowe. And it's seen that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis now because Lennox Lewis was able to put those lasting memories in our head after Bowe retired. He gave us great fights after Bowe. We were still watching him after Bowe. So he had the longer lasting impressions on our minds, which is the situation that Earl Spence is in. Bud could really put this whole Earl Spence thing to bed. He could dead this shit. He could stop Earl from being a next level superstar right now, because if you beat Earl Spence, Bud, you become the next level superstar. But if y'all never fight, you're not a next level superstar. And Earl is closer to being that than you right now. The winner of this fight automatically becomes a next level superstar. And if y'all don't, Bud, you will never be a next level superstar because you haven't done enough yet and you're about to retire. Earl Spence still has a chance to become a next level superstar because he has more fights left on his record. Y'all not hearing me right now. Yes. And then somebody somewhere go tell you that I'm hating on Bud by calling him fucking a Hall of Fame Riddick Bowe type guy. They go tell you, they go find a way to tell you that I'm hating on him by calling him Riddick fucking Bowe. Stupid motherfucker. They go find a way to tell you that, right? But I'm talking about two great fighters, two Hall of Famers, two historians, two legends, two people that did a lot for the sport. But history is always going to pick a winner. Whether you fight or not, history will pick a winner, bro. He did, Bud was smart and really cared about his Hall of Fame legacy. He would jump at Spence fight because no matter what Spencer cheese in the future after him, he could say, but I beat him. Teddy, facts, Teddy. Facts, Teddy. He said, Bud paid enough to hold up undisputed. Hey, and I think that's what he's doing. And like I said, history go always pick a winner. History is going to always pick a winner, man. Believe that. History go always pick a winner. And what's right now ain't always gonna be what's tomorrow. What's right now ain't gonna always be what's tomorrow. Because back then, when it was going on, Riddick Bowe was loved more than Lewis. But right now today, Lewis loved more than Riddick Bowe. Back then, when it was going on, Lennox Lewis was the one ducking Bowe. But right now, Bowe the one that ducked Lewis. Back then, when it was going on, Riddick Bowe was already solidified and already in the Hall of Fame and already young brothers like me, favorite fighters growing up. He was already my favorite fighter. Riddick Bowe was. He was already solidified. But now, Lennox Lewis is solidified also. Lennox Lewis is a Hall of Famer also. And now people think Lennox Lewis is better than Riddick Bowe. And when it was going on back then, at that time, people hated Lennox Lewis. He was from Jamaica, fucking the UK, fucking England, and all that shit. We ain't like Lennox Lewis back then. People didn't like Lennox Lewis at all. But now, because Lennox Lewis kept fighting, Lennox Lewis grew on us. Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson, and he beat Evander Holyfield. He gave us great fights. You know what I mean? He put his stamp on the game, and he was able to do that without Bowe, even though Bowe didn't fight him because he was the younger guy with the longer career. He was able to make a name for himself outside of that Bowe situation. You know what I mean? Y'all don't feel me, though. Y'all might hear me right now, but y'all don't feel me right now. Y'all don't feel me right now. And I'm talking from the standpoint of we ain't getting this fight, y'all. Because I'm talking from the standpoint of we're not getting this fight. Because I don't think that we get in this fight. I don't think this fight is going to happen. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let y'all start and incite a riot in here. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not going to say because Bud don't want to fight. I'm not going to say because Earl don't want to fight. Whatever reason these niggas don't fight, whatever reason these brothers don't fight, whatever reason these gentlemen don't fight, I'm cool with it. What's up, Nitty? I'm cool with it, right? But history will pick a winner. History will pick a winner. And if y'all miss this Southern Tea right here, boy, if y'all miss this Southern Tea, y'all missed a fucking treat. Y'all missed a treat, no. What's good, Nitty? Appreciate you sliding through this, young Nitty G. Glad you could make it, pimp. Glad you could make it. You know what I mean? Because most people ain't gonna get in depth with you like that. Most people just go come in here and they just go put up a post and they just go bash Earl. Most people come here, put up a post, and you know they just go dig in on how Terrence Crawford need to do this and Terrence Crawford need to do that, right? But Southern T, I want to challenge your thinking. I want to challenge your mind. I want to provoke some thought, and I want to provoke some thought early in the morning. You know what I mean? Not everybody go see this. Not everybody go see this. Not everybody go feel it. Not everybody even know Southern T a fucking mad magician. Just me, we talk. Ain't nobody up here we talk, just me. It's just me up here we talk. Ain't nobody up here but me. You know, most people ain't even go hear this good cook. Some people actually hear all these cooks, but they never go say nothing in my chat because they don't want you to know that they watch my shit. They don't want you to know that I'm really 10 times better than them. You know what I mean? They don't want you to know that shit. So they're not going to necessarily speak in here. Some people like me so much they come in here, listen to me, but won't speak to me because you like me so much. And I know you motherfuckers be in there. You know what I mean? You like me so much, you can't help but look. But you don't want me to know that you in here looking and listening. You know what I mean? But I want you here. I want you to hear. I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. I want everybody to hear this. Everybody need to hear this because I'm not coming in here. Oh, Earl ducking. Oh, Bud ducking. Nah, because that's too easy. That's too easy. It's too easy to come in here and yell at you and do all that shit. That's what you want to do. So nobody can be understood. So you can't hear none of this good dialogue. So you can't hear none of this open perspective. So you can't hear none of this cook that's going on. They don't want you to think logically. You know what I mean? They want you to argue back and forth about who the best. Oh, it's Earl. It's Bud. Earl ducked. Bud ducked. Earl ducked. Bud ducked. Earl been ducking. Bud been ducking. Nah, we ain't here for that. I want you to think about this shit. Fuck a duck. You can feel like who you duck, but what I want you to do is, yeah, I see him in the back T. Yeah. I see him in the back D. I see their ass in the back D. I see him in the back. Yeah, the people in the back. Yeah, see, but that ain't what we're here to do. Because whether you feel like whoever duck, whether you feel like Earl duck, whether you feel like Bud duck, what it is, history will always pick a winner. And you better believe with the great fucking career that Riddick Bowe had, and we forgot everything that Riddick Bowe did. All we remember Riddick Bowe for is being a fucking duck, which is blasphemy, which I hate that for Riddick Bowe. I hate this how Riddick Bowe is remembered because he had such a great career. He did so much for the sport, gave us so many entertaining fights. Did Riddick Bowe? I hate that's how we view Riddick Bowe right now. No, but it's true, and I can't blame nobody but Riddick Bowe. You know what I mean? You can't blame nobody but Bowe because if Bowe fought Lennox Lewis, right, we wouldn't be able to say that that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. No one will be able to say that. But Riddick Bowe left it out there. He left the thought open. He left the cabinet open. He left that rock unturned. And now all we can do is speculate. And I'm pretty sure what Riddick Bowe thought was because at the time, and I'm pretty sure Bud Crawford thinks this too. I'm pretty sure what Riddick Bowe thought at the time was, oh, these people love me. Oh, I'm pound for pound. Number one. Oh, Lennox Lewis not even from here. They not go like they got that guy, from the UK. No, they not go. They go ride with me. They ride with me now. You see how they take enough of me? They said, yeah, throw that belt in the trash. Right? So I'm pretty sure Riddick Bowe thought all of that stuff. But what Riddick Bowe didn't take into account was that going towards the end of your career, that might have been the worst move you could have made, to not fight him. Because if you fight him and you beat him, everything you've done in your career, on top of beating Lennox Lewis, that put you in rarefied air. That put you in Muhammad Ali conversation. You know what I mean? But because you left it open in the air, you left openings for people to become better than you. And in this case, people being Lennox Lewis, the guy that you decided not to fight. You know what I mean? And he continued to fight, beat the guys you beat, beat some guys that you didn't beat. You know what I mean? He continued to fight, make his own legs and make his own way, leave his own imprint. And now history sees Lennox Lewis better than Riddick Bowe. But in the midst of all this, we saw Riddick Bowe as the better fighter. Riddick Bowe was already Hall of Fame. Lennox Lewis wasn't even in the Hall of Fame at the time of this Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis debacle. Riddick Bowe was the one seen as the Hall of Fame fighter, pound for pound and all that shit. Lennox Lewis was the up and coming hungry dog. You know what I mean? Yeah, so Bowe was already Hall of Fame when this happened. But what's true today don't mean it's going to be true tomorrow. Because what Bowe forgot was that Lennox Lewis was younger than him and that he was going to keep fighting. So Lennox Lewis did exactly that. And now guess what? Lennox Lewis is in the Hall of Fame along with Bowe. Lennox Lewis ended up, beating Mike Tyson, beating Evander Holyfield, garnering our love. And now Lennox Lewis is seen in a much bigger light than Riddick Bowe. And Riddick Bowe was our American hero. He was our American guy on the Will Smith show, on the Wayans Brothers show. You know what I mean? A star. So we can forget everything that Bo did for the sport of boxing. If we can forget how great Bo was, because Bo was already in the Hall of Fame. Bo was already solidified. Bo was already seen as that dude. He didn't have to fight fucking Lennox Lewis. Bo didn't have to fight Lennox Lewis. He was already seen as that guy. He was already seen as a problem. He was already seen as, the great Riddick Bowe. He didn't have to fight Lennox Lewis. He didn't need that fucking Lennox Lewis fight at all. He didn't need it, and he didn't take it. And Bowe still went to the Hall of Fame. He's still a Hall of Famer. He didn't need that fight, and he didn't take it. But what he did do was he left the door open for his body of work to be surpassed. And it most definitely was surpassed. And not only was it surpassed, it was surpassed by the exact guy that he decided not to fight. And I think that's going to be the fate for Bud Crawford if Bud Crawford decide not to fight Earl Spence Jr. Because, yes, Terrence Crawford is Hall of Fame. No, Terrence Crawford don't need Earl to go to the Hall of Fame. Yes, Terrence Crawford is pound for pound. Terrence Crawford is also at the end of his career. Also, if Terrence Crawford doesn't fight, if Terrence Crawford doesn't fight Earl, this is going to be one of the last things that we remember about Terrence Crawford's career. You know what I mean? So EJ's not going to be a three-way class. I'm finna block you, Tony, because you missed the whole point. What this EP about, Tony? What this EP about, Tony? What this EP about? Because this don't got shit to do with what I was talking about. What this EP about, Tony? What this EP about, Tony? Or did you just come in here spewing all that bullshit that I just told them folks not to come in here on? Because that ain't what the fuck we talking about today. That ain't what the fuck we talking about today. What the fuck is you talking about? Y'all come in here, hear one thing, and just get on y'all bud dick sucking fucking marathon sprees, bro. Y'all niggas need to listen when y'all come in here, dog. Y'all need to fucking listen. Exactly. You can't. I know you just got here. I know you just got here. I know you did. That's why you need to listen before you get to talking and shit, bro. I can tell you just got here. I can tell you just got here. I'm not going for that shit, bro. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel, Tony. I don't care how none of y'all feel about it, bro. You can feel how you feel. Keep that bullshit away. Keep that bullshit off of 17. Earl, Bud better, Earl better. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who you feel like better. That's what I'm talking about. Niggas come in here, hear one thing, and get to running they dick suckers. Bitch, I've been here an hour and a half. Y'all niggas need to start listening. This stream say an hour and 35 minutes. You come in here, hear two statements, and you jump. Man, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, bro. And you ain't the first person I did that to either, Tone. I did it to somebody else earlier. I'm doing that to everybody that come in here not on fucking task, not knowing what the fuck they talking about. It ain't finna be no Earl bashing. It ain't finna be no Bud bashing. Y'all niggas finna listen on here. That be the problem. And I'm through dropping links because y'all niggas don't listen enough. That be the problem. Y'all don't listen no more. Everybody just want to talk. Everybody just want to talk. Y'all don't listen no more. Go watch the replay. Go watch the replay, dog. I've been here an hour, 35 minutes explaining what the fuck I'm talking about. You've been here 2 minutes. Fuck out of here. You don't need to say nothing. You just need to sit back and listen and try to catch up. How about you ask the question first, bro? Sick of you niggas, man. It's too early for this. It's too early for that shit, bro. Too early for that shit, bro. Wait until 2 p.m. when I got some energy to deal with y'all bullshit. I ain't got no energy to deal with y'all bullshit right now. What's good, Shay, girl? Now, I'll explain what the hell I was saying before I was interrupted. Now, I'll explain what the hell I was saying before I was interrupted. Sissy, motherfucker. Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis were supposed to fight, right? At the time, of this fight, at the time that they were supposed to fight, Riddick Bowe was seen as the bigger star. Riddick Bowe was the more liked fighter. Riddick Bowe was the bigger name. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound. Riddick Bowe was probably the best heavyweight in the division at the time. At the time of this dispute, right? At the time they were supposed to fight, people Riddick Bowe had the fan love. Riddick Bowe had, the people on his side, right? Lennox Lewis was the outcast. Lennox Lewis was the outcast. Was the dude from Jamaica, ironically, was from the UK. Was the big foreigner, right? That was Lewis. Riddick Bowe, thinking wise, like I don't have to fight Lewis. I don't have to fight this guy, and he didn't fight him. He didn't fight him. Now at that time, Lennox Lewis was not in the Hall of Fame. That's what I'm talking about, Jay Gibson. That's what I'm talking about. Not no dick sucking ass shit to that. Damn, them folks got on Tony ass. Damn, D-Man. Damn, they got on Tony. But yeah, so I just peeped that shit. Damn, where the fuck I was at? Hold on, let me see what I was just said. Hold on, let me see what I said, y'all. I forgot what I said. Ready, Bo? Let me see what I said, y'all. I forgot what I said. That's the question first, bro. We're supposed to fight, right? At the time of this fight, Riddick Bowe was the bigger name. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound. Riddick Bowe was probably the best heavyweight in the division at the time. Yeah, okay, so Riddick Bowe, was seen as the best heavyweight in the division at the time, right? He was seen as the best fighter, right? Kind of like Bud Crawford is seen now, right? Shay, and see, Shay girl, see, you get what I'm saying, Shay. Two great fighters. Riddick Bowe did not need fucking Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis wasn't even a Hall of Famer at that time. Y'all not hearing me. Bowe did not need Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was not a Hall of Famer at that time. But what is today, right? See, Tony coming here, oh, well, Bowe is undisputed. He's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. That's true, Tony. Today, if they retire today, which Bud probably is about to retire soon, the reason, he is all that today. His career is pretty much solidified. His career is pretty much done. He's done what he needed to do. Just like Riddick Bowe. He had done what he needed to do. He didn't have to fight Lennox Lewis to get himself to the Hall of Fame. He didn't have to do that. He chose not to, and he still got in the Hall of Fame. But what changed, though? What changed? From when Bowe retired, Lennox kept fighting. What changed? Lennox still had more time. He still had more time to put stamps on his career. He still had more time, to win championships, to add Evander Holyfield, to add Mike Tyson. He still had time to add all those names to his resume. So we got to watching. Yeah. So we got to watching Lennox Lewis, right? Outside of when Riddick Bowe was fighting. So we had stopped thinking about Bowe as far as being an active fighter. And we started watching Lennox Lewis a little more. You know what I mean? We got to watch Lennox without having Riddick Bowe on our minds because we wanted Riddick Bowe and Lewis to fight. We got to watch Lennox Lewis. And when people actually got a chance to watch Lennox Lewis, them folks tan tone their heads up. And when them folks actually got, damn, them folks tan tone their heads up. When them, when we actually got a chance, to watch Lennox Lewis, right? We was like, hey, this nigga kind of good. When we got to watch him without thinking about Bo, right? We got to, admire him a little more. You get what I'm saying? And we got to see that, damn, fool. Maybe Bo should have fought this dude. This would have been a good fight between him and Riddick Bowe. Now, we don't love Riddick Bowe no less, but Lennox Lewis grew on us. He grew on us because he had more time and more distance to put between that whole messy situation with him and Bo. Right? Because at first, the narrative was that Lennox Lewis was dunking Riddick Bowe because Riddick Bowe was the bigger fighter. He was seen as the bigger name. Right? Tony came here talking about how Bud is undisputed and he ain't what and Earl ain't what he is. Okay, I'm giving you that. And I don't believe it, but I'm giving you that right now. I'm giving you that right now. And Bud ain't even as popular as Riddick Bowe was. He's not as loved as much as Riddick Bowe was. So I'm giving him that right now. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. So if we can forget all the shit that Riddick Bowe did, what make you think we not gonna forget the shit that Terrence Crawford did? He said, matter of fact, in one of Bo's recent interviews, he said he should have fought Lewis. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Because Bo know now, history see it. At the time, it was one thing going on, right? At the time, you had a lot of fans, you had a lot of love because you were still actively boxing. But once you retired, Lennox Lewis kept going. He started to gather some of the same fans. He already had the attention coming from, the fight happening or not happening. So what I'm saying is, Bud can choose not to fight Errol, and I'm A-okay with that. If Tony would listen before he came here, sucking Bud dick, he would have heard that. I'm okay if it don't happen. I don't care. Whether you feel like Bud do, you feel like Errol do, I don't give a fuck. Stop coming in here trying to tear down Errol Spence because you want to suck Bud dick. And I'm talking to more than just Tony when I say that. Stop coming in here tearing people down because you want to lie for another man. That's why on this show I say I don't care who did what. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm talking about if they don't fight though, how it's gonna be seen in history. Because history always picks a winner. I believe that Crawford will come to regret not taking this fight if he does not. I think this fight will really cement both men's legacy. Facts, Shay Girl. Like, again, and I'm gonna keep saying this because it's true. History is going to pick a winner, whether you fight this man or not. Whether Earl and Bud fight or not, history is going to pick a winner, right? Well, Son T, what if history picked Bud? I feel that, right? But what I'm saying is, Bud is going to retire before Earl Spence. That we do know, right? He's going to retire before Earl Spence. Earl Spence has fought Mikey, Sean Porter, Danny, Kell Brook, and Ugas. This is just in recent times. Y'all hear me? This is just in recent times. Bud beat Porter, Brook, and Gamboa, basically, right? He beat Gamboa years ago. He beat Kell Brook. What? He beat Kell Brook, what? Out of his prime. And he beat Sean Porter, right? So, right now, right, Mikey Garcia Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Jordanis Ugas. Those are Earl's last 5 fights. Right? Those are Earl's last 5 fights. If Earl continues the run that he's on right now, fighting these high-profile fights, these big fights, these big TV fights, these big pay-per-view fights and all that, if he continues the path that he's on now, right, at 32 years old, right? I mean big fights, not no belts or no shit like that. Just big fight. The belts go come, right? I mean just big fights, big legacy making fights, big name fights, big field fights. What's good, Just Do? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. You know what I mean? If Errol Spence continues this trend of big fights, big name fighters, member name fighters, right? He's going to be able to create that Lennox Lewis type distance between him and Bud. Again, just to catch my brother Just Do it for a second, right? Just Do win this. November 19th is the new projected date, right? Win this thing, talking about how will history view both of them if the fight was to not happen. This ain't no blame game, shit like that. You see, when the conversation that makes sense, all the Bud fans, they never hear. They never hear on the conversation that makes sense. They only hear when I'm cracking on Bud or making jokes about it. They never hear, for the think pieces, for the dialogue, for the back and forth. Now they go come in here on my next stream later on talking about this, and I'm gonna block them too. Well, I ain't gonna block them. I'm gonna time out. I'm gonna shoot them too, because I'm through dealing with any extra bullshit. You know what I mean on T when it comes to this situation. I'm not letting y'all come in here tear down Earl. I ain't letting y'all come in here and just tear down Bud. Now, if something is true, that means it's fucking true. You know what I mean? But all that, when you come in off subject, off topic and shit like that, I'm getting y'all ass up out of here. You know what I mean? Because I wanna provoke thought over here. I don't want to provoke a riot. I don't want to argue. You know what I mean? I don't want to tear down nail one of these brothers. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear y'all do it. So I don't want to hear y'all do it either. I don't want to hear y'all do it either. You know what I mean? So I'm just speaking on how will they be viewed if this fight was to not happen. And I'm just breaking down, the scenarios. A scenario is, again, I think you're going to influence boxing fans or other content creators with this live. Man, I hope so. You know what I mean? Because just really thinking about it, right? We got to stop acting like, right? True enough, and me too. I'm guilty of this too. We got to stop acting like that it's the end of the world, right? We got to stop acting like this shit blood and crip. We got to stop acting like that, it's do or die, right? Because it's not do or die, right? It's not do or die. These guys are prize fighters. And this isn't the first time in history that we didn't get a big fight that we were supposed to get, right? This wouldn't be the first time. But that opens up another question for me, and how they're going to be viewed. History always picks a winner. Whether you fight a guy or you don't fight a guy, history will always pick a winner. What's good, Boxing MMA 365? Appreciate you sliding through. Whether you actually fight the guy or you don't fight the guy, history is going to pick a winner. You know what I mean? In the situation that I used, right? Because, we've had situations where we had top guys not fight before, right? So the situation that I use, right, is Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. The situation I used is Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. What's good, Jelly Bean? Look at how loved, admired Riddick Bowe was during this Lennox Lewis situation, the Lewis and Bowe situation. Riddick Bowe was seen as the better fighter. He was seen as the Hall of Famer. He was the pound for pound guy, pound for pound number one. You know what I mean? He was the more loved guy. He was from America. You know what I mean? People was even saying that Lennox Lewis ducked back then, right? Or you know what I mean? But what's today isn't going to always be what's tomorrow. I believe Bo at that time, right? Bo at that time, he was a Hall of Famer. He didn't need to fight. He didn't need to fight Lennox Lewis at all. Lennox Lewis wasn't a Hall of Famer. Lennox Lewis wasn't undisputed, right? Lennox Lewis wasn't a Hall of Famer, or Lennox Lewis wasn't undisputed. Riddick Bowe was the man. Riddick Bowe was the champ. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound, right? So he didn't need Lennox Lewis. He didn't need Lennox Lewis. Bowe was already solidified, already in the Hall of Fame. Fuck, he need Lennox Lewis for, right? So he decided not to fight Lennox Lewis. Cool. I get it. It happens. So Bo went his way, Lewis went his way. But what Bo didn't take into consideration was Lewis was the younger fighter. Lewis had more time left. Lewis had more time to put in between this messy situation with him and Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe, already being in the Hall of Fame, already being solidified, kind of backfired on him at that moment. Because yes, right now you were solidified. Right now it felt good. Right now you felt protected, to not fight him. But if you fast forward 2022, 80% of people think that you ducked Lennox Lewis now. They don't think that Lewis ducked you. And Lewis was able to change that perception because he kept on fighting. He went on to do those great things that we know he did now. We're not talking about a now situation. Tony was talking about a now situation. We're not talking about a now situation. You know what I mean? Because at that moment, it was right now. Bo was already in the Hall of Fame. Lewis had more work to do to get to the Hall of Fame, which he did. You know what I mean? He had more upside left. He had more time to put that Mike Tyson fight, that Evander Holyfield fight, you know what I mean, in our heads to get us away from this situation. And he changed how people view him. We start to watch Lennox Lewis like, damn, this man actually can fight. Why didn't Bo fight him? Bo might have been scared of him. You know what I mean? It's a question. When did all this Hall of Fame talk start coming up? I don't remember growing up hearing any. Tyrone. Tyrone, who was the first person you heard mention the Hall of Fame? Who was the first boxer? Who was the first boxer you heard mention the Hall of Fame, Tyrone? Real quick, Tyrone. Real quick. Just real quick, Tyrone. Shout out, Brother Tyrone. Brother Tyrone, who was the first person you heard mention that Hall of Fame shit? My G, Tyrone, who was the first? I knew he was coming. So that's where it came from, G. What's good, big dog Willie? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. TWT is in the building. Shout out my guy, Big Dog Willie. I love that TWT on Big Dog Willie name. He said, I lived 30 minutes from the Boxing Hall of Fame, never went. Damn. Bro, you got to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame, Tyrone. But yeah, you feel me? But you feel me though, man? And I ain't going to keep y'all here too. I'm going to be here another 4 minutes. Then I'm going to get up out of here. I'm sure G5 going live pretty soon, man. I just want to have this boxing conversation with y'all. If y'all missed this live, bro, please go back and check this thing. I might stay on because I don't see G5. I might stay on a little longer. Y'all want the links? Y'all get the links. I'll drop the links for y'all. Y'all want to come up. Spit y'all a piece real quick. But yeah, matter of fact, I do want y'all. I don't care if it's one of y'all, two of y'all. How y'all feel about this situation, though? About the November date, the November 19th date and all that shit, all the dates, everything I talked about, just the whole situation. Right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the bridge between fans right now. I'm trying to build the bridge between fans right now. No cap. I know I made the funny with the Bud retirement with the Hall of Fame ceremony, but nah, I did that. I did that Bud ceremony thing. You know what I mean? Out of emotion, right? because I was upset. But I said, you know what? It's a better way to do it. You know what I mean? And this is what I came up with.
Yo,
What's good? What's good?
good. Man, that November 19th date, I've been said that's the only date that's available. That's why everybody's saying November 19th. That's the only date that's available. It's only one
Right.
arena available, which is the MGM on November 19th. So everybody's just assuming that that's when it's going to be, because that's the only date that's available. So I still don't believe that this fight is going to happen. I still don't believe it, because the man hasn't budged from what he wanted, and he's not being reasonable. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's just everybody just assuming, oh, it's going to happen November 19th. That's the only date that's available. Ain't nothing else available for the rest of this year except for November 19th. And they figure, okay, so it got.
What happened, D3? Uh Yo, he's just skinny. I watched Award Kell Brook had to redone ass. That's why Bud could not break them. They ass was strong. Skinny, I watch Award Kell Brook. What's good, B Dot?
What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, they said somebody said the reason Bud ain't break his ass because his ass was too strong. Is that what you said, Tyrone? No, I think he said I watched Kell Brook had. I think it's how I watched somebody say Kell Brook had 2 redone eyes. That's why Bud couldn't break them. Or some shit like that. I don't know.
Is that the real Tony review?
Yeah, that's the real Tony review.
Why he get timed out? I thought he was cool.
Because he came on her. He came in just saying shit. He wasn't listening. He just came straight in. He just came straight in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, this fight ain't happening. This fight ain't happening. I have no faith in this fight happening. And it's gonna be a shame too.
Right.
Really I don't. They can say I don't care what they say. I don't care. For this fight to happen, they both had to be in the ring. No, I don't care about the press conference. They had to be in the ring, face to face. The bell has to ring the first round for that fight for me to believe that fight's happening.
Like D3 just said, man, they just pushing. They just giving us possible dates right now, man. They're not giving us exact dates. They're giving us possibles.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, I made it like I'm really at the point like where, man, I don't think we give it. So I really just want to see like how people go, like what people go say, like how people go take to it. I know what most people want to do. You know what I mean? And I feel like at the root of it, you know, they want us at odds about this shit. You know what I mean? That's why I'm gonna do my best not to, you know, however you feel about it, how you feel about it, bro. Whether Bud duck or Earl duck. All right, let's talk about what the fuck they gonna do afterwards. Because Bud more likely.
I don't even care about the ducking part no more. I don't even care. It's more about not having a fight, period.
Facts.
Like I'm tired of arguing about who ducking and who money this and money that. I'm tired of it. It just the fight has to happen. And man, the blaming part is if Bud's asking for $100 billion, okay. If Spence won it in Dallas in the backyard, okay. But I don't. But it's I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't want to argue about it. I don't care about Spence and Bud no more. It's coming to a point that let's move on. Let's see Shakur fight somebody Devin Haney or Tank or I'm done. I'm done with that because how long we been arguing about this shit for damn near
about 2 years,
2 or 3 years.
About 2 years strong for real. Like It's been
After
a
AJ lost to Ruiz, basically, right? Because AJ and Ruiz, I mean, Don Wilder and Ruiz was, I mean, Wilder and AJ was a big talk, and then when that nigga lost to Ruiz, it kind of settled out, and now it's this, and this been going on forever too. And watch what's going to happen. One of them niggas going to fight somebody, and they're going to lose. That's exactly what's going to happen. Watch.
and I think that's what's
Yeah, it's possible that one of them fight somebody and somebody lose, but I don't think Bud is gonna go to 54 because we know that's where Earl's going at. So if it doesn't happen this year, it ain't gonna never happen. It ain't gonna never happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. Period.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening either. I really don't think it's happening because, like I said, this is the only time that it can happen. We know Bud is not gonna go to 54. We know he's not gonna go to 54. He was talking about he was just talking about months. Just a couple of months ago, he was just talking about going down to 140. So I don't think he's going to 54.
Well, he said he's going to go to 54. He said he's going to go to 140. Who knows what that nigga's going to do? So I don't, like I said, whatever day comes out, and I'm a Bud fan, but whatever comes out of his mouth, Spencer's mouth, Al Heyman's mouth, what's the fat boy's name? What's his trainer's name? Bomac's mouth.
Yeah.
I don't care what comes out of their mouth until like I said, telling Southern, until they get into that ring and that bell rings, I'm not. The fight's not happening according to me.
Fact.
No.
That's what I'm really too.
Yeah. I've been like that since the second week of August because I kept saying it. I said, if it's not made by the second week of August, it's not going to happen. So I'm like, now I'm at the point like, I don't even care about all this talk about who getting what money, who deserve this money or not. I'm like, just let me know when the fight happens. Let me know when they sign the contract and they got a fight date because at this point I don't care. I could care less about when this fight going to happen because I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, see, think about it. I'm going on a trip for 3 weeks in November, and if the fights, I mean, I know they're throwing out dates, but I'm gonna be in Hawaii, so I'm not. And I wanted to go to the fight. Meet up with all you niggas. Go. It's probably be in Las Vegas most likely. The Bud ain't gonna let it happen in Dallas. But I want to see all you niggas say what's up. We can sit there and I can be Bud this. You gotta be Spence that, and have her talk shit back and forth. But this shit right here, I'm not even planning on going no more.
At this point, when they didn't make the fight back in April and May and all that. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go to this fight because now it's getting too close to the holidays. I got kids. Yeah. I got grandkids. I'm not spending my money on one fight when I got grandkids that didn't have a Christmas the last 2 years. No.
Right.
I'm spending my money on my grandkids. Spending my money on my kids.
Yeah.
So,
you're right. No, you're right.
I'm not even. Yeah, I know it's bad. I'm not even preparing, and I don't have to prepare for shit, but. This joint, I'm not even preparing for this shit no more. And this ain't gonna be a fight I think you just can get up and go to. You know what I mean? I don't, bro. Y'all got to give us a certain amount of time to go to fucking Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
It's right now it's September, right?
That shit.
It's September, right? And they need a 6-week training camp.
Today, September 1st. Today is September 1st.
It's September. We got less than 60 days for the fight's supposed to happen. So that means we got less than 30 days to promote the fucking fight. This shit ain't happening, dog. This shit ain't happening. I don't pay me nothing out of y'all. This shit ain't happening, man.
How long is the training camp? What, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
8 weeks, yeah. This will be training camp time. This will be training camp should be starting 2 weeks. It should have already had a fucking press conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is bullshit. Some bullshit. I'm done. Like I'm good with man. That's why sometimes I can't be going on certain people's channels because I don't want to hear it. I know it's like. I mean, it's not even. It's like you guys talk. I mean, people talk about how the fight's going to be and how Bud can do this and how Spence can do this and how they counteract and who has an advantage over here. What's about? It's almost like saying Sugar Ray can beat Floyd Mayweather. It's almost in that thing, but it ain't gonna never happen.
Facts. The reason I want to talk about Earl and Bud is because they actually can fight. Like that's why that's fun to me when they actually could get in there and have it out. That's what's the concept. But if they not gonna have it out, I'm not gonna be talking about this shit, bro. Cause it's just my thoughts against your thoughts, and I don't like doing shit like that, bro. I want to know. I be wanting to know shit.
Now, see, it was fun a couple of months ago because we believed that the fight was going to happen.
Exactly.
Now it's like, okay, now this shit we know this shit is really not going to happen. It's really not going to happen.
Yeah,
because
that's exactly.
it ain't no time like the present for this fight to be the best time to make it. They had all this time from the time what was April 16th. From at April 16th at 11:59. From that point on, they had all the time up until now to make this fight.
Yeah.
And this shit is just not happening.
They're fucking it away. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's what's wrong. This is wrong with boxing. That's what's wrong with boxing, right? This is the main reason. I said this. I don't want to go through this Wilder AJ shit no more. And we're going through it right again and again. And it's the same shit.
Yeah, it's like I really think about these fighters and like, what are you in the sport of boxing for? Are you just in the sport of boxing just to get a bag, or are you really trying to prove that you're the greatest boxer of all times or the greatest boxer of your generation? Because the way these guys move, it looks like they just in it for the money. They're not in it to prove that they're the best boxer of their generation.
You know what? I'm just gonna say this to you guys, but I blame this on a couple of people. I blame it on Floyd. Of course, I blame it on Canelo. And I kind of blame it on Oscar. No, Oscar De La Hoya wanted all the smoke, though. I can't say him. But it's the money. It's the money in Floyd, and it's more mainly Floyd. But Floyd fought people early in his career. That's the thing about it. Floyd did the hard work, and then at the end of his career, he started lagging off. But people want to be like Floyd, but people forget Floyd fought monsters when he was pretty boy, and then he started lagging off. People want to just fight lagging off without fighting the monsters first. So,
and then you gotta think, Big Dog. Even with Floyd, right? He's lagging off, right? He beat Guerrero after he beat Berto. He beat Ortiz after he beat undefeated Berto. Floyd was fighting guys after their biggest fights, their biggest wins of their career. Floyd will fight them next. It was a down step because Floyd was so good.
Yeah, I mean, he fought
point in their career though. The fighters that he was fighting, they was at the highest points in their career. You know what I mean?
I mean, he fought Mosley on his way down. He fought Cotto on his way down.
Oh, Mosley after he beat Mayorga and
but the thing is
Mosley after he beat Mayorga and somebody else. He was coming off too.
Yeah, but no, he wanted Mosley a long time ago. Mosley was the one that didn't want to fight Floyd until later.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Floyd didn't never want to fight him. I'm just saying that, when he started protecting his body, when he started, being more conservative, fighting once a year for one big mega fight, doing that shit. That's later in his career.
But Floyd said it out of his own mouth, though. He said everybody want to be Floyd, but nobody want to put the work in. They don't. Floyd tried to make all the big fights early in his career. It was a lot of guys that was ducking Floyd early in his career, like Costa Zoo, Prince Hamid. There's a couple of other guys, I can't remember their names, but there's a couple of other guys that he tried to fight early in his career, and them guys wouldn't fight him. That's why he decided to, okay, you know what? These guys not trying to fight me, so fuck it. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Now everybody going to have to come see me.
That's basically what I'm saying, Tyrone, but it's so toxic right now around that shit. Like, we can't say what we feel is the truth, right? Because I don't know for a fact, but I know what I've been told, right? But even with that, what you just said, Tyrone, I'm cool with Bud. Whatever he want to do, whatever they want to do, bro. If they don't fight each other, cool. My thing is, if Bud heard this, whoever, Bomac, whoever, somebody, if y'all heard this, bro, just they go look at him right now. They not gonna look at him like that 20 years from now. It's gonna be a different look.
Yeah, Tyrone. And actually, I just seen this shit. Tyrone, you have to realize that we don't want to do the blame game right now. We're just frustrated with the situation. And so it's not like you said, like T said, 20 years down the line, 15, 10 years down the line, then and maybe 5 years down, we know who fucked up. But right now, we're upset with the situation because this is not the first time this shit has happened. It's an
Right.
ongoing thing in boxing.
Look at all these fights in my head. Look at all them great. Y'all see Mike and Tour. Let me go look at this. Mike and Tour, fucking Hagler and who up here? But just go look at the people. This shit happened a lot. But history always picks a winner, though. Believe that.
Just like I said, just like you said, we're gonna know later on in the years who was the reason why this fight didn't happen. So regardless how people think, we're gonna find out because they're gonna end up telling on themselves. Because the one person that's gonna regret this fight, that's the one that's usually the one that ducks.
Yep.
Like a good example is Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. Now, who looked at the better champion?
Now or back then?
No, back then. I mean now.
Now it's Lewis. Now it's Lewis.
Now it's Lennox Lewis. But back then everybody thought Bowe was the better fighter.
Exactly. Now, if we already fucked up, I mean, I don't know what the situation is, because I don't know. You guys know more than I am. But like in 5 to 10 years, when we find out who fucked up, then we're gonna look at that person who ducked the fight or whoever did not make the fight, who's responsible for this shit. We're gonna look at like Spencer's the better fighter, whoever bust better fighter, because that person did not want to make the fight.
Yep. Because like I said, because I mean, if you look at it, like T said earlier in the live, if you look at it, Bowe was looked at the same way people looking at Bud right now. That's how Bowe was being looked at.
On a bigger scale, though, he was looked at the same way, like pound for pound, number one, the best champion, all that shit, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, because he had just got finished beating Holyfield for the second time or whatever. So everybody was looking at Riddick Bowe as the better fighter between Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was an upcoming heavyweight that a lot of people didn't really know him like that. So they was looking at Riddick Bowe as, Riddick Bowe was the better fighter. I believe Riddick Bowe will win this fight, and Riddick Bowe was the one that didn't make the fight. Lennox Lewis was pushing for the fight, and Riddick Bowe was like, "Nah, y'all not gonna force me to fight this man," and he threw the fucking belt in the trash.
Yeah, that was bullshit right there. See, that's the type of shit. Yeah.
But you gotta think, even when Bowe threw the belt in the trash, people was like, "Yeah, Bowe, yeah, Bowe, yeah, Bowe threw that shit." No, that was what times changed though. Now people like, hold on. After we saw Lewis beat up Holyfield and Mike Tyson, motherfuckers like, hold on. Maybe you should have fucked this nigga, bro. He's pretty good. You know what I mean? Maybe you should have fucked this nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, you look at that time period. I mean, first of all, if we go to heavyweight, the heavyweight division was way better than the heavyweight division now. Yeah. Back then in the 90s, way better. So, but Bowe did fuck up that era when it came to Lennox Lewis is the GOAT of that era, and that's just hands down. Because Lennox Lewis did win all the smoke.
It was gonna be Lewis or Bowe, and that's what I'm getting. You know, what I'm saying? It was gonna be one of them, and it ended up being Lewis. But it could have been Bowe.
And at that time, it wasn't no 4 belts. It was only 3 belts.
But you look at it, Holyfield is considered better than Bowe.
Yeah.
Because he lasts longer, and he fought the people. He still fought. He lost to Bowe twice. He still fought. He still fought the Tysons. He still fought the Lewis. He still fought the.
If
chopping.
If you look at, but I'm saying if you look at.
Damn. I can't hear you, Free.
Oh.
I can't hear you, Free. You must be going on the tunnel or something. You driving, huh?
Oh, he's driving? Okay.
That they consider 4 belt early. That's the newest belt. Yeah, I'm breaking up. Hold up. Yeah.
I get the belt Bud at. I just know what you said. Newest belt.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. We're good now.
But yeah, like That's what I'm saying. If you look at the belt scale, Earl Spence got all the belts that really was considered as undisputed back in the time that Lennox Lewis and them fought.
Yeah, all the belts
But now they got that.
all the belts that Bob Arum didn't make.
Right.
You say?
All the belts that Bob Arum didn't make, Earl got.
I don't know, man. This like, yeah, man. Because you know what? This is boxing full of shit. I'm just saying, this is boxing full of shit.
This
But
shit
hey,
Lennox Lewis, man. To me. 2 Hall of Famers. When people tell you they'll tell you right now, Earl not in the Hall of Fame. Okay, just like Lennox won the Hall of Fame. But eventually, you know, when y'all want to finish with it.
how Earl not in the Hall of Fame?
Right, big dog. I think that you're right, but I'm just going off what I hear. Like people tell me,
it's motherfucker. Okay, go ahead. I can name people with less. What's that dude's name that always got beat up? He fought the white dude. Gang. If he can be in the Hall of Fame, never mind.
Yeah. Fact. Now you right, but I'm talking about what people tell me. Like right,
that's just hating though. That's not even
true. Bud already in the fame. True. That's true too. Goddamn it. But they say Earl not in there, right? So
who's saying that? I don't understand who's saying that.
Lewis wasn't in there at that moment. You know what I'm saying? But Bo was.
Yeah, but Bo had to. But if you win a belt, and this is exactly how it's gonna go. If you win a belt, any belt, you're gonna pretty much if you hold it for 2 or 3, 4 defenses, you're gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Facts.
Porter will be in the Hall of Fame.
Facts.
You know what? And this Mike Garcia will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. And
Danny Garcia might be in the Hall of Fame.
He might slip in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He might slip in that motherfucker.
So I mean, it's not hard. So I don't know who said Spencer's not in the Hall of Fame.
Mikey is definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a 4-division champion. He is definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm talking about I know Mikey, but I'm talking about like Danny Garcia. Like he might go into the Hall of Fame.
But Danny Garcia I believe Danny Garcia is a 2-division champion.
Yes.
He is? Okay. You know what? Who's else gonna be in the Hall of Fame? It's Amir Khan. Amir Khan will be in the Hall of Fame.
Shut this shit up with that.
No, I'm not lying. Amir Khan will be in the Hall of Fame.
I was about to say he probably is going to be in the Hall of Fame though.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he probably is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He fought a lot of Hall of Famer type fighters. So yeah, he probably will be in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't if you got Rocky Balboa in there. I don't see why Amir Khan wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Regular belt. You should be in the Hall of Fame if they got Rocky Balboa in that bitch.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Gotti's like a good example. It's just like he's in Mickey Ward. He's in the Hall of Fame too, right?
Yeah, Mickey Ward is a Hall of Fame.
Trash ass Ward. He the trashiest Ward I know.
So
yeah. Shit, yeah. I believe Ricky Hatton is going to be in the Hall of Fame as well.
Probably
if he's not already.
Hell yeah, he gonna be in there. Yeah.
I mean, did he have like 2 or 3 title defenses? 2 or 3.
Ricky Hatton fought about 2.
Yeah, but yeah, Ricky Hatton fought. You gotta remember he fought Manny Pacquiao and he fought Floyd.
Did he knock out Costa Zoo?
I think he did.
I think he knocked out Costa.
I think he beat him. I don't know if he knocked him out. I think he beat the shit out of him though.
Yep, something like that.
I can't remember. I know he knocked out a lot of motherfuckers because that's what he was known for, knocking people out. I think he did though. I believe he did. I believe that was Costa Zoo's last fight. He got knocked out by Ricky Hatton, and he never fought again.
I think it was.
That's right. I think, yeah.
Yeah, so he in that motherfucker for sure. Ricky got some wins on that motherfucker now. He
got some nice wins
on that motherfucker.
Right. You got niggas that's still fighting, that's Hall of Fame bound for sure, and these motherfuckers are still fighting. Niggas like Zab Judah.
That Judah, that guy retired.
Zab Judah he just recently retired because he just had
You know
a
who
fight.
beat Zab Judah? Amir Khan beat Zab Judah.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. So did.
You know,
wow.
You know who beat Amir Khan?
Terrence.
Terrence.
Danny
Who else?
Garcia.
Yeah, Danny did. Yeah.
That was easy for Danny Garcia. All you had to do is throw a left hook and he's gonna get caught. I mean,
you know who else who's probably going to make it to the Hall of Fame as well? Lamont Peterson.
Yeah, I can believe that.
I hope so.
I believe he should make it to the Hall of Fame.
Hey, I'm about to finish charting and shit like that, so I need to get off this phone. But I'll catch up with you guys later.
For sure.
All right. But yeah, I mean, it's just at this point in time, I'd rather these motherfuckers come out and say, you know what, the fight is not happening.
So you can see
people can stop
what happened. What happened?
I'd rather them just say that. I'd rather them just say, you know what, the fight is not happening, so everybody can stop thinking about it.
Facts. That's what I want to.
Because I'm already in the thoughts of this fight is not happening. So they keep talking about, oh, it's going to be this day, it's going to be that day. No, like I told y'all, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was either last week or the week before. There's only one date left. There's only one venue left. November 19th at the MGM. I said that I believe it was either last week or the week prior to that. I said that's the only venue left. It's the only date left. So now everybody said, oh, it's going to happen November 19th.
Y'all still shooting Tony.
They still shooting that nigga Tony.
Shooting Tony.
No, he didn't come in the motherfucker, jump right on the nigga dick with no condom or nothing. Didn't take the nigga to the clinic or nothing to see if he was positive or none of that shit. Just jump right on the nigga dick. EJ is not on the motherfucking same level as Lennox Lewis. Man, ain't nobody even said that shit. Listen to the conversation before you just jump right in. We comparing the two fights that were supposed to happen. Ain't nobody say nothing about EJ is the same as motherfucking Lennox Lewis.
Right. Because actually, if you want to go about it, he actually at a higher spot, a higher place than Lewis was at that time. Where he a high spot. He probably in the spot that Riddick Bowe was in. Fuck you talking about? But I ain't even talking. That's really what I'm saying too. Riddick Bowe was an even bigger star than Terrence. You know, and we forget. That's how another thing. He was because of this situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. That's another thing too. Because Bud Crawford is not that big of a star. He's not that big of a star.
You said that, Dwayne, not me, but you know.
Man, newsflash, he's not that big of a star. He's not. You can go around any city you want to and ask them who the fuck is Bud Crawford. I guarantee you, out of 10 people, maybe 4 people know who the fuck Bud Crawford is. Maybe 4.
D-Man said Tony came in and put his head on the edge of the bed. No. And I mess with Tony, bro. Tony be tripping.
That nigga Tony come in this joint hating every single day. Every time he come in here, he hating. No. And I finally got to see what Tony looked like. Now I know what he looked like.
Yeah.
He was on Drew Titan's show one day. I finally got to see what he looked like.
Yeah. I've been knew Tony looked like that. Hell yeah, man. I'm just saying though, like it's whatever it is, like it's just like we can look how good Riddick Bowe was. Look how good he was. Look how popular he was. Look how big he was. If we could literally forget damn near Riddick Bowe's whole career, people literally call Riddick Bowe a duck. I be getting mad sometimes when people say that, but Riddick Bowe did that to himself, bro. Dude, too good of a fighter for us to only remember him not fighting Lennox Lewis, and that's what Bowe is remembered for, and that's crazy. So if they would do it to Bo, my nigga, what
I'm
make
trying
you
to think.
they ain't gonna do it to
I'm trying.
you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what person I can compare Bud Crawford's star status to from back in the day. Not now, from back in the day, because people think Bud is a big ass star and all that. I'm trying to think of somebody I can compare his star status to. He's on the lay. Oh, I got one. I got this perfect star status. He's on the level of a David Tua.
Yeah.
He's on that level. David Tua was considered a hell of a motherfucker heavyweight, but he was not known like that. He was known to diehard fans, not the casual.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. I like that one. He said Trinidad held IBL title for 6 years. Earl first ballot six he held for 6 years and went down unified. Both would make the hall. Okay, look at Tyrone. Edgar Chavez was good. Edgar, we like sliding through this, John. Hey, Queen, where the hell G5 at, Queen? He said David Tour a beast though. Yeah, Tour a beast for sure. Bud a beast. That made perfect sense. I'm telling you because niggas will say David Tour, and most people will be like, "Huh?" But then you Google David Tour, and you'll be like, "Oh, yeah." So that's the guy I like that. I like that one. Cause David Tour will beat your ass. If David Tour had it on chin though, and I think he would have beat Mike. Yeah. Now when he's saying he fight like him, he compared their star status to each other. Yeah. David Tour and Mike Tyson is literally in my thing up here. Y'all see what I'm so y'all see what we just did today? Mike Tyson and David Tour is literally in this headline. You know what I'm saying? Fights that didn't happen. Fights that didn't happen. You know what I mean? And then every time I heard David Tour, you know what I heard? Mike ain't fight Tour. Or if somebody say Mike fought everybody, it's always one person that's gonna say Mike ain't fight Tour. You know what I mean? Now it ain't a big thing like the Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis because both of them are stars on a different level. Both of them were huge stars. Tyson was able to get around Tour a little bit because he wasn't a huge star. Bud don't have the luxury of getting around Earl Spence because he's a bigger star than you right now. You know what I mean? So he's a bigger star than you. You don't got that luxury to get around him like Mike got around Tour. Mike didn't really get around Tour because people still tell you Mike should have fought Tour. DS clearly just said he think Tour would have beat Mike. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's gonna come up like now Mike Tyson ain't losing that David Tour situation, but David Tour won because we could always mention David Tour as the dude Mike Tyson didn't fight. You know what I mean? And then you go look at David Tour, you see how he was knocking people's heads off. You're like, damn, it would have been a good fight between him and Mike. He probably would have knocked Mike's head off. That's why Mike ain't fighting.
Yeah.
She said, maybe where
Yeah.
So he took those algae meds last night, so he probably still 3 sheets to the wind. Shit. Okay, he's in 2-0, was outslugged by Lucha and outboxed by Lewis. Tua got 2 losses. Look, Lennox Lewis beat David Tua. Lennox Lewis beat David Tua. So Lewis beat David Tua and Mike. And now imagine how great we would have thought of Riddick. Imagine how great Riddick Bowe would have been looked at if he had a four Lennox Lewis and beat him, and Lewis beat Tua and Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. You know what I mean? He left he left the opening for Lennox Lewis to be better than him when he didn't fight him. Bud, and I feel like Bud leaving that opening for Earl to surpass him. Some people already feel like he passed him, right? But I feel like Bud leaving the opening for Earl to surpass him if he don't fight him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he in the Hall of Fame already, just like Tua was. I mean, just like Bo was.
Yeah.
But history gonna always pick a winner, man. History gonna always pick a winner.
Yep.
I gotta go watch Lennox Lewis fight David Tua. I ain't see them. Well, I probably saw a highlight or something. Probably didn't even know he was David Tua. Probably didn't even know he was David Tua. Fuck. He's there, bro. Yeah. Ah, shit. What's good, Judge? He said Lennox had to do a lot to get Tua out of there. I gotta watch that, John. I missed that, John. I gotta watch that, John. I didn't see that one. I missed that one. And he blocked that man shit too. Phoenix in here getting on my ass. I got drafted by the Kings. Phoenix in here getting on my ass. Let's go. Is everybody gone to the wind? Let me check my shits real quick. It's college football day too, y'all. I don't know. But yeah, so I just want to act no. I want to get y'all opinion. Your turn of reviews must be. I just want to get y'all opinion, see what y'all thought about it, man. Like I don't want us to. I don't want us to be going back and forth with each other. I don't be wanting us. He said, "Hey T, how bad we look last night, bro? We still on. It's still going right now. I had made some from last night till in the morning. We wanted two last night. It could still be going on right now. I got to check and see exactly what happened. But yeah, I don't want us to be arguing, back and forth, for another 3 fucking years about Earl and Bud and who would Earl and Bud and who would have won, who would have this and who would have that. You know what I mean? If these guys never fight, you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let everybody see that this didn't happen before. This didn't happen before a lot of times in boxing. You know what I mean? This one ain't gonna be the first, and this ain't gonna be the last. You know what I mean? Time that we may not get a big fight. You know what I mean? This ain't gonna be the first or it ain't gonna be the last. But again, what's true right now may not always be true tomorrow. Because at a point in time, Riddick Bowe was seen as a better heavyweight than Lennox Lewis. At a point in time, Riddick Bowe was seen as a Hall of Famer, and Lennox Lewis wasn't. You know what I mean? At a time, Riddick Bowe was seen as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Most definitely the best fighter in his division. Hall of Fame bound. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis wasn't. People didn't even like Lennox Lewis. People used to hate Lennox Lewis, actually. You know what I mean? They ain't know whether he was from London or he was from Jamaica or he was fucking Canadian. You know what I mean? They hated Lennox Lewis. But you fast forward until right now, you fast forward till today, Motherfuckers love Lennox Lewis. He is in the Hall of Fame, actually, right? See how that work? He is in the Hall of Fame, actually, right? And he is seen to be better than Riddick Bowe. What is true today may not always be true tomorrow. You know what I mean? What's true today may not always be true tomorrow. And yeah, Riddick Bowe was able to get by with it for a certain amount of time, right? For a long time, right? For years on years. But what Riddick Bowe didn't take into consideration was that Lennox Lewis was the younger guy, and he was going to have an extended career after Riddick Bowe. You know, so we got a chance to watch Riddick Bowe fight most of those people that. So we got a chance to watch Lennox Lewis fight most of those people that Riddick Bowe fought, and we saw him do damn good against those people. And we saw him do damn good against those people. You know what I mean? And then people started to say, "Oh damn, this Lennox Lewis guy can box a little bit. Damn, maybe Riddick Bowe should have fought this dude. That would have been a damn good fight." My bad, y'all. Checking my phone. Damn, y'all been calling shit. My bad, my bad. Like I literally I ain't check my phone in about 2 days. My bad, y'all. I ain't check my phone about 2 days. That's terrible, ain't it? Yeah, he put his hands in the mold, D man. But yeah, you know, at that point, nah, I ain't sleep, D man. I'm playing 2K. I was looking at my phone. Uh, at that point in time, Lewis was seen as, you know, not Lewis. At that point in time, Bowe was seen as the man on top. Bowe was seen as the man on top. You know what I mean? And everybody was, you know, cracking on Lewis. They was saying that, you know, Lennox Lewis was ducking Bowe. But time reveals all. And people will pick a winner. What's true today may not always be true tomorrow. But you can retire and make the Hall of Fame without Earl. You know, you can. But in doing that, you do leave a window open, you know, for people to question who is really the best. You know what I mean? And with you not fighting Earl Spence, you also give people, you give Earl Spence a chance to surpass you in greatness. What you mean, Sutton T? Well, if you beat Earl Spence, he can't surpass you. He can only be under you. He can only be after you. If you beat Earl Spence, everything that he does makes you look better. Everything that he does improves you. Or, you know, you could be cool with what you already accomplished. You know, Bo was cool with what he already accomplished, right? You could be cool with what you already accomplished. You most definitely can. Right? And you could leave it to chance. Or you could really put that stamp on it. You could really put that stamp on it, right? And you could take away all question about who's the best. You could take away all doubt about who's, you know, who did what. You could really be the best to ever do it. Because if you beat Earl Spence, right? Not only do you end that Earl Spence question situation, right? But you also become the only person in boxing to ever be the only man in boxing to ever be two-time undisputed. And that's in any era, any division. The only man to be two-time undisputed. Wait, Evander Holyfield was two-time undisputed. You become the first man in the four-belt era to be two-time undisputed. Evander Holyfield was two-time undisputed. Cruiserweight, heavyweight. You become the first man to be undisputed in the four-belt era. You know what I mean? The second man to be undisputed. You feel me? The first and only man in your generation, the first and only man in the four belt. You will have more belts than Evander Holyfield. You know what I mean? You will have more belts than Evander Holyfield. You know, if you was to beat Errol Spence, not only would you have more belts than Evander Holyfield, you will close the question, you will close the gap on the conversation, you know, the you and Earl conversation. And even if Earl is to continue his career, everything he does is only go amplify what you did to him. You know what I mean? Everything that he does can only amplify what you did to him if you fight Earl. But if you don't fight Earl, you leave him hella opportunity. Oh shit! If you don't fight Earl, you leave him ample amount of opportunity to surpass you in legacy. You know what I mean? Because right now, just like back then, right now, you know, it's split. It's an argument. You know, certain half the fans feel this way, the other half feel that way. One half the fans feel like you ducking, the other half feel like Earl ducking. Right now, it's a discussion. You know what I mean? It's a discussion right now. But you're going to retire before Earl. Bud's going to retire before Earl Spence is. You know what I mean? So this situation with Earl Spence is going to be more closer to the end of Bud Crawford's career. Earl Spence is going to have a lot of time to put, you know, a bunch of fights in between this situation with Bud Crawford. This is going to be one of the last things that we remember about the career of Bud Crawford. As to where, because Earl Spence is the younger guy, right? He has more fights left. He has more times, you know, to change our mind about things. He has more time. He has more time to make an impression on us when it comes to this. If this fight doesn't happen now, the new date they saying is November 19th. Me personally, I feel like that's the newest opportunity. I don't feel like that's the new date. I feel like that's the newest opportunity, you know, for the fight to happen. Today on this EP, I'm speaking strictly if the fight don't happen. If the fight don't happen, then how is history going to view these two fighters? And I personally believe that both guys was good comeback. Appreciate you sliding through this young comeback. Glad you can make a comeback. Hope you're ready to come in second place in the Fantasy Football League comeback. Now, both of these guys may end up in the Hall of Fame, right? Which is why I compared it to Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. I'm talking about two elite talents right now. I'm talking about two Hall of Famers. I'm talking about two guys. I'm talking about two guys who go be, you know, I'm talking about two of the best guys of their generation, two of the best guys in their division, two guys that's going to the Hall of Fame, just like Lewis and Riddick Bowe. But let's stop for a second. At that time, Lennox Lewis wasn't seen as the Hall of Fame guy. Lennox Lewis wasn't seen as the Hall of Fame guy. Riddick Bowe was seen as the Hall of Fame guy. Riddick Bowe was already solidified and going to the Hall of Fame. Lennox Lewis still had, you know, things to prove at that moment, right? Kind of sound familiar a little bit? You know what I mean? Bowe was already going to the Hall of Fame, and Lennox had more things to prove. So at that time, Riddick Bowe did not need Lennox Lewis to go to the Hall of Fame. Riddick Bowe did not need Lennox Lewis to be considered a great fighter. He was already solidified. He was already in the Hall of Fame. I'm waiting for my girl Monica to come through. I think she listened. She just ain't saying that. I'm waiting for my girl Monica to come through because she the one that need to hear this. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure she up right now because she would have already been on G5 by now. You know what I mean? So she up, and I know she here. She just ain't gonna say nothing because I'm making too much sense about her favorite fighter right now. You know what I mean? But Riddick Bowe didn't need Lennox Lewis. He was already a Hall of Fame. He was already solidified. Those are facts. You know what I mean? We could even say right that Lennox Lewis needed Riddick Bowe more than Riddick Bowe needed Lennox Lewis, right? People were saying that Lennox Lewis was ducking Riddick Bowe at that time, right? Lennox Lewis was pound for pound. Riddick Bowe was pound for pound. Riddick Bowe was top dog. Lennox Lewis was the up and comer trying to make his name. People were saying that Lennox Lewis was ducking Bowe at that time, right? Now I'm saying history will always pick a winner, right? When they both were active fighters, it was it was Bowe ducking Lewis. Oh, Lewis ducking Bowe. It was a conversation to be had. And then Riddick Bowe ended up retiring before Lewis. And then Lewis went on to fight Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and all those great heavyweights. He put on all those great fights. And he gave us a chance to see that, he really was a championship medal. He gave us a chance to see him in big fights. You know what I mean? And they got us thinking, right? When he continued his career, right? They got us to thinking, damn, he looking this good against these guys. Damn, I wonder what he would have looked like against Riddick Bowe. I kind of wish him and Bowe would have fought. I kind of wish Bowe would have fought him. You know what I mean? And then Lennox Lewis went on to become a Hall of Famer, because he still had things left to do after Riddick Bowe was already, done, solidified, retired in the Hall of Fame. Lennox Lewis still had things to do. He still had a career, ahead of him. And he carved out a damn good career. You know what I mean? He carved out a damn good one. And he ended up, with a Hall of Fame career as well. So at the moment of the fight with Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, Bowe didn't need Lewis. Lewis wasn't a Hall of Famer or no shit like that. But Lewis did become a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Because he still had more time left, more things to do after that whole situation. Riddick Bowe was the one who was already solidified and he was done. That means he can't add nothing else to his legacy. Riddick Bowe couldn't add anything else to his legacy but a fight with Lennox Lewis. That was the only thing that he could have added to his legacy was a fight with Lennox Lewis. But Bowe left the window open for Lewis to be better than him by not going ahead and beating Lennox Lewis. So now the stuff that Lennox Lewis was doing in his career, it looks amplified because he didn't have that Riddick Bowe loss. You know what I mean? He beat the same people Bowe beat. He beat the younger guys and he beat different guys. You know what I mean? He had more space to put in between. He had more memories to make in between that whole contract dispute with Riddick Bowe or whatnot. Riddick Bowe, the one that was already solidified. He ain't have much more to give us. He didn't have much more to go. He didn't have much more to do. He literally had nothing else to prove at that point. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis still had a long line of work to do. Was good. Fizzle, my brother Fizzle, G5. Appreciate you sliding through this junk. TWT in the bid. What's good, G5? What time you going live? I've been on here 2 hours, 51 minutes. I got 9 minutes left. You know what I mean? I'm ready to pass. I'm ready to send these people on over to the G5 in the morning. You feel me? But we in here having a boxing conversation, you know what I mean? But Bowe was already solidified. That was true. Wasn't no doubt about that. He didn't need Lennox Lewis for shit. Didn't need him at all. You know what I mean? But history always picks a winner. Look at how Riddick Bowe was viewed then, and look how Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis was viewed back then, and look at how Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe are viewed now. You know what I mean? Look how they was viewed back then. Look how they view now. Bowe, pound for pound champ, was seen as the better boxer. You fast forward now, Lennox Lewis is seen as the better boxer, and Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? It's about making that lasting impression in the minds of the boxing fans, in the minds and the eyes of the people. That's what it's about, making that lasting impression. Lennox Lewis had a career of lasting impressions. Riddick Bowe had a career of lasting impressions, right? But that last impression is what people remember most about Riddick Bowe. And I think that's sad that Riddick Bowe had such a great career, right? And all we remember him for is not fighting Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? And I would hate, for that I would hate for that to happen to Bud Crawford. But if you really look at it, right, Bud has said it himself. I don't got nothing else to prove. I'm solidified. I'm going to the Hall of Fame already. The only thing that Bud can do in his career right now is beat a guy like Earl Spence. It's to beat Earl Spence. It's pretty much all he can do now. He can somehow miraculously pull off a fight with another guy at the PBC without fighting Earl Spence. Then he could fight Jermell, right? But Jermell already said he's not fighting him either. You know what I mean? So pretty much the only thing that Bud really can do right now to make his career bigger and better, really, you know what I mean, would be to beat Earl Spence. He could go up to 154 and get a belt, but he'd have to go through Jermell Charlo, which ain't gonna be easy. You know what I mean? Which ain't gonna be easy. And I don't think he's going up to 54 anyway. You know what I mean? But he don't got many choices left. And if you go do that, why not beat Earl Spence and Jermell Charlo? Get undisputed 3 times. You know what I mean? Damn, 3 undisputeds? Damn. You know what I mean? So why not go that? But, it ain't much for him left to do but beat Earl or beat Jermell or beat them both. You get what I'm saying? It ain't much left for him to do but big accomplishments like that. You know what I mean? But I tell you this, if he don't fight Earl Spence, he most definitely leave the door open for Earl Spence to surpass him. Because there's already fighters who have surpassed him in legacy that ain't been undisputed. You don't need an undisputed, you know what I mean, to surpass, these fighters. It's only been, 9 undisputed champions? And every undisputed champion ain't seen as the best fighter in the world. I'm sorry to tell you, Jermaine Taylor, he's not seen as the best fighter in the world. Be hot. Maybe at a point in time they were, right? Just like Bud is right now. But that's what I'm saying. Time moves on. Fights continue to happen. B Hop not seen as the greatest fighter in the world. Jermaine Taylor not seen as the greatest fighter in the world. Roy Jones was seen as the greatest fighter in the world. Now he pound for pound, he probably is seen as one of the greatest fighters in the world, huh? So as the greatest, like people argue Roy Jones being the GOAT and shit like that, So maybe him, maybe Roy Jones, you know what I mean, undisputed. But just because you get undisputed don't mean that you seen this top 5 ever, top 3 ever, best fighter in the world ever, top 10 ever. You just good enough to be a Hall of Famer. Riddick Bowe was good enough to be a Hall of Famer. At that time, he was a big name. He was in it. You know what I mean? The legacy. He was living it. You know what I mean? So it felt huge, and it was huge. But it felt huge, and it was huge. But time goes on. People are going to do new things. More things are going to happen. So the thing that boxers want to do is make a lasting impression. You want to do things that can't be duplicated, that can't be done. You know what I mean? You want to make the biggest fights. You want to beat the best guys type deal. Or you could end up like Riddick Bowe, pound for pound number 1. You know what I mean? The best heavyweight in the world. Or you could end up like Bernal Hopkins, undisputed champion, you know what I mean, of the world, you know what I mean, type deal. But to the Riddick Bowe thing, as time goes on, people are going to do more than you. And in Riddick Bowe, it just so happened that the guy that he chose not to fight, and Lennox Lewis, ended up doing more than him, even though at that time, Riddick Bowe was solidified already before Lewis. He was solidified before Lewis. He was a Hall of Famer before Lewis. But it's not about doing it first. It's about doing it right. It's about doing it the best. You want to be the best. You don't want to be a Hall of Famer. There's a difference. You want to be the best. You don't want to be a Hall of Famer. And to be the best, you would have to go through Errol Spence. To be the GOAT, you would have to go through Spence and Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? Don't leave it. Don't leave it up for open. Don't leave it, for discussion, because yeah, you may be looked at right now a certain way, Riddick Bowe, but later on they may look at another guy from your generation, or maybe an opponent that you should have fought, Lennox Lewis, Earl Spence, as the best because of what he did after you decided to hang it up, because you were already solidified. But y'all ain't feeling me though. I know y'all ain't feeling me. I know y'all ain't hearing me right now. I think y'all hearing me, but y'all ain't feeling me. You know what I mean? Like, it's levels to this. Like, both these guys are Hall of Famers. Earl Spence and Bud. Earl and Bud. Both are Hall of Famers. Both are Hall of Famers, right? Just like Lewis and Bowe. Both are currently in the Hall of Fame. Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe. Both are currently in the Hall of Fame, right? Both are Hall of Famers. But how are they viewed? How are they viewed as fighters? How are they viewed in the lights of boxing fans? How are they viewed in the lights of boxing minds? At a point in time, everybody would have told you Bowe was better, but how they viewed now? You know what I mean? People would tell you Lennox is better. People will even go as far as to tell you that Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? And right now, Bud is sitting pretty, but 20 years from now, you know what I mean? Who's to say it's gonna look like that? Like, I'm gonna keep saying this. History always picks a winner. History always picks a winner. Whether you fight a guy or you don't fight a guy, history always is going to pick a winner. So it's best to just go on and fight the guy, so history don't have to pick a winner for you, and you can control your own fate, because every every decision, has a reaction. And right now, yeah, it sound cool. It sound cool to say, I'm already Hall of Fame. I don't need you. I got what you want. That sound cool, but that don't mean that that's the end of the road. It's the end of the road for you, bud. It's the end. It was the end of the road for Riddick Bowe. You get what I'm saying? You said what you are now, but Lennox Lewis and Earl Spence careers are going to continue. You may be winning the race now because you started first, but natural way of progression, natural way of life, you're leaving the door open for Lennox Lewis to surpass you. And the only way to keep Lennox Lewis from surpassing you, the only real way to keep Lennox Lewis under you, right? To keep Earl Spence under you, like want him. You want to be seen as a better fighter than Earl Spence. That's what all this is about, right? So in order to keep Earl up under you, you have to fight him and you have to beat him. That way, anything that Earl Spence does from here forward, you always got the one up on him because you beat him. Just like Canelo, as successful as he is, he can't always have his, he can't always have his held the highest, because his head held the highest, because people will always say, well, he can't have his head held high around Floyd Mayweather, right? Because when you the man, right? Until Floyd Mayweather walk in the room, because Floyd Mayweather beat you. You know what I'm saying? Roy Jones is for sure the man. Roy Jones is the man. But when Antonio Tarver walk in the room, I bet you Roy Jones feel a little different, because everybody in the world know that Roy Jones is the man, right? But then you see Antonio Tarver, and Roy Jones know that he can't fuck with Antonio Tarver. You get what I'm saying? So people know the only reason Antonio Tarver got a voice is because he beat Roy Jones. The fights that you fight matter. You got to take some risks. You got to be the best. You don't want to just be a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? You want to be the best. At least you should anyway. You know what I mean? At least you should. I'm waiting for Brother Fire to go live. I didn't hit my 3-hour mark. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold us over. I guess I hold us over to, Brother Fire go. But yeah, man, I just wanted to spark a conversation though. Like, I think this is a good conversation. I think this is a good conversation to have. I don't want to talk about who better or who ducked who or who did this or who did that, right? I'm sick of doing that. That's what everybody's doing. That's too easy. That's too easy, right? I want us to take a look at how we think that they will be viewed after boxing if they was to not fight. Let's say that the fight don't happen. That's what we going out right now. We going out to fight, not happen. Let's say that it don't happen. What? How you think? How do you think both these guys will be viewed? Now, eventually, this feud and this bad blood, between the fan bases is going to come to an end. Just like Lennox Lewis and Riddick both feud, a fan base came to an end, right? And now people just feel how they feel. And now what people is telling you is, and now the truth is, right? What the truth is, and whether it's really true or not, right? But what the truth is, right, is that Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. But back then, that wasn't the case. Back then, Riddick Bowe was the man. Back then, Riddick Bowe was the man, right? Back then, Riddick Bowe was pound for pound. Riddick Bowe was seen as the better boxer, right? But what's true today may not always be true tomorrow. So it's about leaving no stone unturned. And Riddick Bowe left a stone unturned when he didn't fight Lennox Lewis. My bad. My bad. But yeah, what's true today may not always be true tomorrow because then, you know, Lennox Lewis was ducking both. But now you fast forward, the truth is that, and I'm not even saying that this is the truth, but what people are saying, right, was viewed to be the truth now today is that Riddick Bowe ducked Lewis. You know what I mean? So I just need people to be careful, right, on what they say and what they do, right? Because yeah, Bud is already in the Hall of Fame. No, Bud don't need Errol. He don't need Errol. Just like Riddick Bowe didn't need Lennox Lewis to make the Hall of Fame. He didn't need Lennox Lewis to be great. He didn't need Lennox Lewis to solidify himself because he was already a Hall of Famer. So he didn't fight him because he didn't need him. That was his reason. He didn't need him, or they didn't pay him enough, or whatever. For whatever his reason was, he didn't fight him because he didn't need to, right? And that's cool. But what Bo did was he left window of opportunity for Lennox Lewis to be able to surpass him. What happened was Bo didn't think Lewis would be able to surpass him. Bo never thought it would be a day where people thought Lennox Lewis was better than Riddick Bowe because Riddick Bowe was living in the moment. He wasn't thinking about his legacy. He was thinking about where he was at right there. He was like, well, I know I did enough to make it into the Hall of Fame, and I'm satisfied with that. But when you continue to watch boxing, you continue to see fighter after fighter after fighter after fighter surpass you in your accomplishments, you know what I mean? You may start to second guess that, like, damn, man, maybe I should have, did a little more. Maybe I should have fought, you know what I mean, a little longer because I did do enough. Right? But these guys are going. These guys are doing just a little more. You know what I mean? Just a little more to where people will view them, better than me. Like, damn, I did a lot, but damn, I could have did more. You never want to second guess you never want to have to second guess yourself. Riddick Bowe just said not too long ago. Somebody had said in the chat too. You know what I mean? Riddick Bowe just said not too long ago that he regret now fighting Lennox Lewis. Actually, he even said it multiple times at this point. So I know I heard him say this a few years ago. He just came out again and said in 2022. You know what I mean? But he said this a few years ago. Like he regret now fighting. My bad. My bad. I'm playing the game. I'm earning badges. I'm giving myself badges. I earned some badges. Yeah, but my bad. So, he left a window of opportunity open. He left a window of opportunity open for Lewis to surpass him, and Lewis ended up doing just that. Bo didn't think that Lewis would be able to surpass him. He didn't think that, the fans will, may like this guy one day or nothing like that. He thought that he will always have the fans in his pocket. You know what I mean? Now, he didn't need them. He didn't have to do. Nobody could make him do nothing he didn't want to do. He didn't need them to be nothing. But what he did was he left him. He left him. That's what he did. He left him opportunity. And he seized on it and he capitalized on it. Did Lennox Lewis. And now you fast forward to today. People tell you Lennox Lewis better than Riddick Bowe. But that wasn't always the case. Right? Was not always the case. My thing is, rather than us sit here, right, rather than all us sit here going back and forth arguing about who this and who that and who did this and who did that, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? That ain't what I want to do. How many turnovers I average? You know what I mean? That ain't what I want to do, right? This was to open up, people's minds and have a conversation, about how are these people going to be viewed, right? If this fight doesn't happen, how you think history are going to view Earl and Bud if this fight doesn't happen? You know what I mean? And when I answered my own question, I came up with Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. So I just want to put something on your mind. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be an hour stream, ended up in a 3-hour stream. You know what I mean? Because I was in this thing cooking. I'm pretty sure like Brother Fi go be on, sooner than later. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all slide on over to G5_gate. You know what I mean? For the morning cook. Y'all check out the previous 17s. I'm actually about to make some bets. I'm about to rob the bookie pretty soon because, we got a lot of early baseball games. I got to check to see if I'm still live on my other bets. We got early baseball games today and we got college football. So I want to jump out and get a head start on, my bets because the game started 12 today. You know what I mean? So greatly appreciate everybody, sliding through this joint. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy if you ain't. You know what I mean? If you ain't subscribed to the channel, you know what I mean? We greatly appreciate if you will subscribe to the channel. I'm not sure if this your first time, but if you could, not make it your last time. I don't know whether y'all was here for a good time or y'all was here for the long time, but either way, I greatly appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love. Ah, damn, I need in my life. I'm high as hell. I'm gone, man. I'm gone, fool.